Please learn. No. Anyway, have fun, learn, lean into the discomfort of not knowing what you're doing, because I think that's the best place to learn from. But without any further ado, I'm going to hand over to Shivani.
Thank you. My general volume is very loud, so good luck with this mic. Let me test this out. I can't do this. All right, hello. How's that? Can everybody hear me? Can everybody online hear me? Hello, good morning. It's
Hello, we
Saturday.
can hear you.
Yay!
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes! Yes! Hi, everybody. Hello. Hi, everybody online.
Yes,
Hi,
we can
everybody
hear
here.
you.
Brilliant. I'm so
Yeah.
happy. Amazing, amazing. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Already, you guys are business school students from different degrees, I know it, and it's Saturday, and you have 10 million things going on, and all of you have still chosen to spend your morning with me. For that, I want you to do like a quick pat on the back, round of applause for yourself. Yes! Fam, like here's to personal development, professional development. Like you've chosen to be here. Nobody made you be here. You made this choice. And I promise you it's going to be a phenomenal choice because I'm always a good time. Okay? Any time of the day, this is the vibes that are coming through. Zero coffee, no Red Bull. This is me all the time, okay? So we're going to have a great 3 hours together, all right? I'm going to do a quick introduction of myself and then why we're here. And then I'll go over the agenda, okay? So, hey, Boo. Hi. Come. Amazing. I'm so good.
Everyone, Team
Yes.
5 here.
Yes.
Discuss the maid, a local laundry and dry cleaning business.
Sorry. All right. No, all good. Okay. Okay, for just really quickly though, I actually want to give a huge round of applause and a huge thanks to your consulting club. Honestly, like this couldn't have happened without their efforts. You guys don't know the amount of work they do behind the scenes, like all the marketing, all the organizing, making these sessions happen for you. So I'm really grateful to work with a phenomenal team here and come and do a few sessions with you. And I hope that all of you enjoy your journey on the consulting club. Yeah? Amazing. Okay, so why are we here today? We're not actually here to learn about how to crush case competitions. Why we're actually here is to learn a mindset and a methodology that has served me my entire career. Okay, so whether you're already a corporate executive or whether you're a startup baller, like this way of thinking that we're going to learn over our next 2 or 3 workshops is going to transform the way you solve any problem, literally any problem from any sector. It doesn't matter. It's just a way of thinking, and that is why we're here today. Okay, but let's talk a little bit about why I'm here and why I deserve to be here. I don't know what the words are. Who am I? Your host. Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Shivani Ghai. Please follow me on LinkedIn, like and subscribe. Okay, so I'm currently an education and employability strategist. I really focus on the future world of work. I love it. I get to do a lot of really exciting things with young people in youth development and also thinking about how, as a country, we're moving forward in South Africa. So I am based here in Cape Town. I also am a management consulting teacher for an amazing organization called IX. They do like an immersive boot camp every summer for US students here in South Africa and Portugal, where we teach them like important world skills like management consulting, so they can go into a career as management consultants. In a previous life, you will not believe this, I used to literally work in oil and gas. I wore steel toes and a hard hat to work every day at the Caltex plant here in Cape Town. That was my life. All right, so I am a reformed engineer, no longer. All right. In addition to that, I also did my MBA at UCT. But that's okay. I love Stellenbosch too. I love all of you. It's all good vibes. As part of my time at UCT, I had the amazing opportunity to study under Johannes Schuler, who is a phenomenal strategist. And with him, we went to the John Molson International Case Competition, which is the world's largest international case competition with 40 different schools participating. And for the first time in the competition's history, we were the first ever African business school to win the case competition. So this was in 2020. So that's just like my short flex. And Also in 2020, I was recognized as one of the top 6 MBA candidates in the world. So that's also my other flex. But I'm trying to be humble, so it's not working out well. I need an ego death. In addition to that, I'm also a coach and facilitator. Okay, so you guys can see I bring the vibes. This is all the time. So I believe that facilitation is a skill that all of us should have, and I bring it to all of my workspaces, working with young people, working with old people, just inclusive vibes. That's why all of your names are on the table, because I'm literally going to be making death-like eye contact as I demand responses from you, but you will learn to embrace it and enjoy it. You will crave my eye contact. You will want it in your life. All right, otherwise I'm a cool cat and we're all going to have a good time. But regardless of all of this, one T and C, don't believe anything I say, okay? I'm just here to explore something with you. I need you to come up with your own way of thinking, with your own mindset, and with your own framework. Everything I share with you is just tools that work for me in my life. Okay? How they're going to serve you is completely up to you. But as with any good business school candidate, take everything with a grain of salt, take whatever you need to serve you in your basket, and then move forward from here. Does that sound like a good agreement to everybody? We're going to operate like that, hey? All right, so when I F up, yeah, you can't be too mad at me, okay? I'm just like you guys. Guys, there's no right answer to anything in business, which is amazing, right? Like, we all struggle with it, especially engineers. Are any of you engineers? Just hands up, engineer. There's no right answer today. I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna get 2 + 2 = 4. Everything is just the best answer in that context, in that moment for that business. Sounds good? Brilliant. Okay, so all of you had an exciting opportunity to read through our case for today. Did all of you do it? If you didn't do it, there's no point in being here. You're going to be really confused. So if you're online and you didn't do it, bye, fam. No, it's okay. Stay along. It's going to be a vibe. Okay, so I asked all of you to read this case called The Maid. And you're like, man, why am I reading a case from 2007? But remember what I said in my instructions. Yes, you're the only one who read them. I know it. We said assume present day conditions. Okay, all cases can be really interesting depending on context. And so we're here to talk about that today. I just want to check online. Can everybody still hear me okay? I don't want to come in and out. We're still good?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can
Yes,
hear
we're
you.
fine.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right. So let us discuss what is happening today. I've just done a brief round of introductions. I'm not going to ask all of you to do it. You know, like you do a workshop and the first hour is just everybody like, hi, I'm from Cape Town. And you're like, why did I waste an hour of my life? All of you know each other, and I will get to know all of you over time. So we're not going to do intros like that. We're going to spend the first hour of today actually doing your pitches. So no, I am not going to tell you the answer to the case before you do your pitches. You will do your pitches with us in the room today. So for everybody online, this is the time to pay attention, and everybody here. The way we're going to do pitches is I'm going to randomly call on a group. You're going to have exactly how long to do your pitch? 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So if you crammed like 10,000 words on your slides, good luck. All right, you have exactly 2 minutes. And ask the exco from last year, I will cut you off. There's no mercy here. You will be cut off at 2 minutes. After that, do you have questions, Abir? Okay. No, all good. At 2 minutes, when I cut you off, we're going to open it up from Q&A from maybe some of the audience members. We don't have to, and a little bit from me. So each team is going to have about 10 total minutes, okay? That includes you coming up here, setting up all of that, no more than 10 minutes, because we have 8 teams. The rest of you who are not presenting, this is not a moment for you to practice your case and change your slides, because we've already put up your slides. Yes, it's not an opportunity for you to change your ideation. It's an opportunity for you to learn from other people, but it's also an opportunity for you to bank some questions. Okay, this is really, really important. You want to be able to roast the other team, so pay attention. It's really, really important. Cool? Sounds good? After our pitches, we're actually, again, not going to solve the case together. What we're going to do is we're going to go through business fundamentals. And as we go through this, the fundamentals of solving a case, we're going to use the MAID as our case study as we walk through. So are all of you familiar with case methodology, how to teach using a case, how to work with a case? That is not very common at studies, eh? Okay, so at most business schools, case methodology is a great way to learn something because you're not being prescriptive. As mentioned in life, frameworks and theories really rarely work, okay? But learning through cases, we learn real time. And that is called case methodology, which is what we're doing today and we're doing in our next session together. Almost everything that you'll do with me will be based on cases, real life business cases that help you learn and integrate your knowledge in a centralized way. Right? So we're going to use our case today to walk through fundamentals of a business. And that's why I said in the beginning, you're not here to actually learn how to crack a case competition. You're here to integrate all of your MBA learning into a real-time case. Fantastic. I'm also going to teach you how to read a case. If you're probably like, why would I need to know how to read a case? We're going to find out. But just that quick warm hands, how long did it take you to read the case? Just and like, did you read it as a team? Did you read it individually? Anybody in the room? Individually, yeah? How long-ish? Half an hour, okay, yeah? Anybody else? Anybody online? How long did it take you? How long did you give yourself to read the case and make notes and stuff?
Took
You're all
an
super
hour.
busy. An hour, okay, brilliant. Who
Oh,
was that?
hello. Sikolile.
Hi, Sikalita. Hey, hello, brilliant. Okay, amazing, cool. So we're reading about like an hour, 30 minutes. You're all really busy, good to know. We're gonna talk about how to effectively read a case. And then we're gonna talk about how you can do case analyses in the future because we're gonna be doing quite a few cases together. So in workshop format, we're gonna have 2 of these. And in between, your Exco is actually gonna send you random cases that I send through, and you'll do them as practice with your own teams in the format that I'm gonna teach you at the end of today, okay? So you can become like rock stars at casing. That also means you're going to become rock stars at solving problems. Cool? Yes? Amazing. Okay. Without further ado, sorry for all those online who are still sleeping. They're like getting fucking heart attacks here. Without further ado, we are here to discuss the MAID. So what will Wilson Wong do? How will he expand? What is his strategy going to be is what we are here to answer today. I am going to call on group number 2 to have their presentation first. Is anybody from group 2 in the room with us today? Group 2.
No, we are all online.
Yeah, okay, brilliant.
None of us are in the room. Apologies. I'm in Lusaka.
No problem. Have you guys decided, team 2, who from your team is presenting?
Yes, we have a presenter.
Okay, fantastic. Who's presenting? What's their name?
Mshuma Mlenga.
Okay, brilliant. Do you want to share your own screen? Good.
If you have it that side, I would prefer.
All right, that's okay. We can do it. We can do that. But then you're gonna have to tell me when to click next, hey?
Okay. Maybe because if I was to try and share, it would take me a bit of time. That's a challenge I have.
Okay, but then Tracy, will you come click through? I want to sit there and okay, no worries. We'll click through. Tracy will click through for you. Okay, everybody,
Yeah.
we're gonna give team 2 our full attention. Team 2, I'm gonna tell you when you can start. I'm literally putting on a timer now. And I will cut you off at exactly 2 minutes. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's good.
It's very savage here. There's no grace. Hey, team 2, are you ready?
Yes, we are.
The time starts now.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Mr. Wang's laundromat, that's our case. Our group has 3 guys. Situation analysis, external context, rental space market volatility, majority of the shops run by families without professionalism. The chain presents an opportunity for Mr. Wang to expand because they are underrepresented in the market. Internal context and qualified staff, but we also have adequate facilities for current scale, need to upgrade for expansion. Mr. Wang's conundrum, the opportunities to expand the laundromat business. What is the most optimal model to expand his business? Key issues, cost-related issues, insurance, rent, electricity, safety issues, use of natural gas, fire hazard, the price of gas cylinders has gone up, labor key issues, staff not motivated as the stigma against their cleaning business. Recommendation, enhance marketing, one, use of social media platforms, build strong brand, quality control, continuous training of staff, leveraging current processes, use customer feedback mechanism, provide quality services at affordable prices. Business expansion, open new branches based on financial analysis, prioritize convenience and potential increase in revenue. Thank you.
All right, thank you, team 2. Does anybody have any questions from the audience? Okay, I have a few questions for you guys. Okay, let's go to your recommendations. Okay, so for our recommendations here, team, your recommendations, what was the primary question that we set out to answer here? Team 2.
Okay, I'll ask my colleagues to come in. They're online also.
I think it's the way we saw it. The question was, it's the most optimal way for him to expand.
Brilliant. Thank you, thank you. So if that is your primary question, what is the most optimal way to expand his business? Which of your recommendations addresses that key question that you set out to answer?
It's if you look at our recommendations, there's a recommendation on business expansion, and we're saying he should expand based on the financial analysis that is done by himself, and also his expansion should prioritize convenience for the customers, balanced with potential increase in revenue.
Thank you so much, team. So when we look at our expansion options, so Mr. Wong had the options to do a number of things. Can you talk a little bit to why you chose to open new branches versus all the other options Mr. Wong had?
Okay, one of my colleagues can come in.
Oh, continue, Mshuma.
Yes.
Can I continue? We said open new shops. So he had a couple of options. He could franchise, he could do joint ventures, he could buy existing shops, which probably in retrospect is probably the most optimal one if we look at it now. And then he could open new shops. So the opening of new shops was quite risky. However, he has very experienced staff in his existing shops. And the thinking was he could then take the experienced staff from his existing shop, not many, maybe one or two supervisors, and use them to train up the new staff in the newer shops and therefore expand his business doing that. Although he was a bit apprehensive to do it, but that was our thinking around that, is that he already has the resources. He's got the highly qualified staff because he's got all of these processes and systems in place that he's used to train his staff, and he's got quite superior training models and whatnot. So I think that was our thinking. Probably buying existing shops was the best option, but at the time we thought opening new shops was probably the better of the two.
So my last question to you as Mr. Wong would be, I feel that your recommendation is incongruent with the key issues that you identified, because you identified rent, insurance, electricity, labor, all of these key issues, and yet your recommendation seems to be holding in those key issues. You haven't addressed any of your key issues by opening a new shop. No problem. Okay, so that's just an observation. So team, moving forward, as you look at your recommendations should solve for your key issues. You see, in this instance, we've identified a lot of great key issues, but the recommendations don't really solve for it, right? Maybe the quality control recommendation kind of solves for the labor issue, possibly, but the other issues don't really, none of the other recommendations solve for any of the top 4 key issues identified here. All right, thank you so much, Team 1. Great first effort. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, next up, I'm going to call on Team 4. Is anybody from Team 4 here? Oh, in person.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Cool. So we are team 4. Most of us are in class. So our situational analysis, the laundry market in Hong Kong is very fragmented with 1,700 family-owned shops, no professional change or little chains, and then the market is very saturated, but the urban living conditions is a prime factor for the laundry market. Okay. So Mr. Wang wants to expand to 100 shops while maintaining his profitability, the company culture, and his work-life balance. Key issues. So lack of the detailed customer survey. So he guesses about 70% of his customers come back every time. The rent and market volatility. Then the expansion strategy, are we going to expand buying shops or making our own shops? And then the biggest one, or not the biggest one, but very important, staffing and talent management. So laundry industry isn't a very sexy industry for people to work in. So how do you maintain, or how do you get people to come and work in your shops? Then the recommendations. So firstly, we want to improve our cash flow, that we can acquire and build our own shops. So we want to increase our demand. We need to get our employees, we need to scale the operation, so we need to invest in the skills for the employees. And then we want to firstly integrate the supply chain. So getting the
So close. Thank you. Well done, well done. It's hectic, guys, it's hectic. You won't believe it, literally in a case comp, you have 2 minutes to make your first impression before you present your whole case. So I'm not lying to you when I'm making you present your case in 2 minutes. So in this instance, we actually don't know what this team's recommendations are. We mildly know them, so I'm not going to let you guys read through them. So we're going to question them and assess them on their first 3 slides. It's okay, it happens, it is hectic. And this is why also I would highly warn against having slides that have a lot of text on them. So in this instance, for example, if I was a judge, I'm not even listening to you. I spent most of my time reading through the deluge of information that was on the slides, right? You want to use like power words, and you want to use your words to convince them to come on this journey with you. I actually have a question for you guys, but before that, I would love to ask the audience, do you guys have any questions? Yohet has a question, or there's a question online? Yeah. So the question was, maybe the OC, the owner's conundrum, was a bit unclear, because, and I would second that as somebody viewing this statement. You can't have work-life balance and have 100 outlets, right? So something interesting would have been for you to question that for your client. That's what a good consultant does, okay? Your client is going to come and tell you, I want to open 10,000 new stores in the next year. You ask them based on their capability and based on their actual motivations, is that what they actually want, or is that what they think they want? So in this instance, if you read through the case, on at least 3 occasions, Mr. Wong says he wants work-life balance, and he randomly throws out the number of 100 outlets on one page. Okay, so this is something to keep in mind as a consultant. What is a red herring? Where are you being distracted by information that maybe is not actually relevant to this case? You can say it was in the case, but you can also say, however, there's a greater motivation for a different owner's conundrum. Yeah? Okay. I want to say in this instance, the key issues, although they were a lot, the way they were presented, they were very well structured. Okay. It was really easy for me to see where you're headed. And I think if I was able to read through your recommendations, I'm hoping that if you did address these 3 key issues, I think you would have been absolutely on the right track. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you. Okay, next I'm going to call on team 6. Team 6. Yay!
Can everyone online hear me? Is it okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, everyone, we are team 6, and we're going to take you through our case study, The Maid. Starting on the situation analysis, we see a visionary entrepreneur who owns a laundry and dry cleaning business. He's situated in Hong Kong, owns 3 stores, and part owns a factory. He wants to bring professionalism to the industry and uses his experience in appearance shop, professional training, and academic prowess to challenge the status quo that family-owned businesses can dominate this industry. Supported by demography, lifestyles, and weather conditions like pollution and heavy rain, the industry has longevity and is generally profitable, although there are concerns. Oh, sorry. So financially and emotionally invested in this business, Mr. Wong has a strategic decision to make. The owner's conundrum is how to expand considering the options at hand while driving optimal profitability in a highly competitive environment. Isiku? Okay, key issue 1, limited market focus and customer insights. Here we see a reliance on the retail market because the company depends heavily on walk-in traffic, which limits its reach and scalability. Lack of corporate client focus, which offers higher margins, but the company hasn't pursued it actively. Limited customer understanding. We lack data, which is hindering marketing efforts. Operational inefficiencies and lack of scalability. There's a management structure issue, a staff training and retention and attracting people to the industry issue. There's limited control over processes and a lot of outsourcing taking place. Missed opportunities for growth and differentiation, unexplored franchise model, limited technology adoption, and a weak brand identity.
Does anybody have any questions from the audience? Yes.
So Johet's point here in person, for those of you online, is that the owner's conundrum must be a problem that you are trying to solve, right? So it's a question that you should be able to answer. It can be something as simple as must or should Mr. Wong expand, franchise, do nothing? Like that is a simple question that he's trying to address. In this instance, I agree with you. There's a lot going on. One should be able to see like one simple question, and then your recommendation in line with that should say something like, yes, Mr. Wong should expand by buying new shops and managing quality control, blah, blah, blah. All right? Yeah? Go for it. Yes.
My understanding was there was a consistent theme throughout the issues around his ability to expand. And the issues essentially focus on various impediments that may be constraining his ability to expand. And those took on different elements, whether it be obviously the market aspect or the operational aspect or the differentiation component as well. So those are just general takeaways.
So Kyle saying that maybe the reason for him or you guys having framed your question in this way is because you believe that the case was leading you down to explore the impediments in his path to expansion. So the case nudged you to assume that he's going to expand, right?
As you mentioned, he has this idea in terms of how he wants to expand 100 stores.
Yes.
Whether that's realistic, sustainable, responsible, whatever you want to term it. You know, there are factors that need to be considered in the real world that maybe constrain his ability to expand. Maybe 20 stores is ideal, maybe 30, you know, whatever it is. But you'd have to work with Mr. Wong and figure out what is a reasonable expansion strategy within his constraints.
You are already at the pre-conclusion that the expansion strategy is the way to go. Do you see what I mean? So you've already in your mind made up this point, and then you are addressing factors. So you're actually doing like level 2 analysis where you're trying to solve his problems for him, but he's asking you for a recommendation of whether he should expand or not. That is his true conundrum, right? Yeah. Or if he should expand or not, how should he expand, but not addressing maybe like the minutia yet at this point where we are at this level of analysis. Okay. I also thought your key issues were very strong, well done, and especially in the structuring of how you guys did it, it was really good. I can definitely see how you drew congruence with like a big theme and then having sub issues. So that was really well done. And I can't speak to your recommendations. I'm so sorry.
Great.
Oh, okay. All right. Well done. Good effort. But you guys got to be on top of it. And as a team, I think the lack of your person online and not having planned that, and then the slides not going through, that was very difficult for me as a judge because you were speaking to points, but I wasn't following along. So I would recommend like just staying on top of it or having a strat. All right. For those of you excited for these presentations, we can just send all of them out later, and then all of you can have access to each other's great work. Okay, with that, I'm going to call on team number. So we've had team 2, 4, and 6 go. I'm going to call on team 9. Team 9. Oh, whoa, also in the house. Yes. Click through.
Yeah, I'll try and read both.
Sarah.
Use the screen, eh? The touch screen TV.
Oh.
Good to know.
Living in the future, guys.
Can everybody hear me? Online? Good. Okay, cool. Want to see if the tech's working? Okay. So the situational analysis. The maid operates in the laundry and dry cleaning industry in Hong Kong. There's currently 1,700 shops, and of these, 15% are chains. The market is driven by the dense urban environment of the living conditions in Hong Kong. And then the maid has 3 shops with a mix of corporate and retail clients. The owner's conundrum is expanding over 100 shops while maintaining quality of service and remaining profitable and sustaining a scalable business model. The key issues we identified was expansion. What is the most effective method for them to expand? The talent management, developing quality management, and customer retention and growth. Retaining current and future customers and growing their customer base. Then we recommend that they invest in automation technology like laundry automation systems, manage their talent through training and development programs, employee incentives and mentorship programs, and then doing better market analysis, evaluating their current locations and future locations, and then having tailored services towards their clients. They should also acquire more corporate clients, and they should improve their operational efficiency through switching to electrical machinery and offering more cashless payment options.
In time. I'm going to stay here if I ask questions, and you can just answer them. Okay, that was really well done and within time. Does anybody have questions? Yoat probably has a question.
Conundrum is unclear.
Again, I think we're all not landing the OC yet, but we will today. So your next time you're going to crush it. I do want to mention, guys, the 100 outlets thing is a massive red herring. It was like a distraction from the front. And I will tell you already, and everybody falls for it the first time they do this case, because it seems like, especially to those who are quantitatively minded, it seems like such an easy target to gun towards, right? Like if you're like, oh, I just have to build 100 stores, man, that's so easy. It's the easiest thing to do. You know what's really difficult is to create real value, to create a business, to create a brand, to create a sustainable business model. These are hard things to do. It's really easy to open 100 outlets. They're gonna go to shit and they're gonna shut down in a year, but you sure as hell hit his target of 100 outlets. Okay. That is why this is a really bad target to gun towards. It's really easy for a bad consultant to hit and really bad for a good consultant to recommend. Yes, question.
And online.
Ooh, go for it. Do you know who it is? I can call them. Oh, Sikaleli, hey.
Can I ask the question? Yeah, no, one of the key issues was customer retention. I'm struggling to understand why customer retention would be an issue for Mr. Wong. It seems like he's got it didn't come through in the case as an issue.
So we said we were thinking more of in the low income areas where they didn't have a lot of customers. Only the one shop was doing better than the others, would say, and they were having better margins, you can say. I don't know if the team wants to jump in here.
Yes, if I may, the other thing that was also mentioned in the case study, it was the challenge that he does not have the customer service in terms of people who are coming back for the service. So I think as part of that, having that inadequate customer data then will be identified as one of the issues.
I just want to say quickly, that was a great question. And for everybody here and for Team 9, this is what the judges will do to you, okay? So if you make a massive assumption and you put it on your slides, you better be damn ready to defend it, because it didn't say anything specific about customer retention, except that he's assuming it's 70% retention because nobody has numbers, okay? So you've based a key issue on an assumption from an assumption in a case. Okay. You could have said something that would have been defendable, would have been no existing customer retention data, collect customer retention data. These are all true things. The assumption of customer retention is inaccurate, so you might get docked for something like that. So that was a great point. Yeah, is that fair? Yeah. Okay, great. Hi. Oh, wait, thanks. We've just got this, the cool IT guy in the house. In the meantime, I actually want to go over your recommendations. I think the recommendations were kind of good. I still don't know like what your Team 9, what your vision is. Like, what are you doing? Are you expanding? Are you not expand? And how are you expanding? How is the question.
I would say for expansion, it touches more on the short-term goals of acquiring more corporate clients that is more profitable, and at the operational efficiencies to reduce the expenses there, which would enable them to expand more, buy more shops towards that. And then the long-term stuff.
Hold up. You just mentioned for the first time, so not in your 2 minutes, that you're going to buy more shops. Do you see, like, nowhere in your case did you say that you guys are acquiring more shops or that you have the intention of acquiring more shops? Right? The only time you mentioned it is the aspiration of the owner to have 100 stores, but your recommendation doesn't speak to it at all. And having more corporate client acquisition, that doesn't mean expansion. That can mean increase in revenue at your existing 3 stores, which means you don't need to expand. So is your strategy expansion or not? I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just saying you didn't answer the question that you set out to. All right, fair? Do you guys see that? We didn't really, in this case, we didn't answer the question of whether to expand or not and how to expand specifically. Yeah? Okay. You guys are profit maxim. Sorry, I'm gonna clip this. Okay, so can you all hear me? Is that better? Okay, so what they're doing is they're actually profit maximizing here. You see, you're increasing your revenue, you're reducing your cost inefficiencies. So you're doing good at profit, but that's not the question. The question wasn't, how are you gonna increase profit? The question was, are you expanding or not? Right? Fair?
Yes.
Yeah? Brilliant, thank you. Also, guys, this happens all the time in Q&A at the end of a case. People will throw out like wild ideas to lifeboat themselves. You can't do that. If it wasn't on your slides, if it wasn't in your case, if it was never mentioned there, you can't come up with a whole new strategy because you could have stolen that idea from like the 6 presentations before you, right? If you haven't already thought about it, don't bring it in. You guys may have thought about it, but you never banked it, so it doesn't count. But good job. Okay, amazing. Guys, we're like collectively getting better. I love it. No shade, team 2. Sorry. Hey, okay, team 3. Group 3. Do you have anybody online?
Yes, we will. I think we're all online.
Okay, amazing. Tracy's gonna click through for you. You must just say next so she knows to click. She doesn't know your deck.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm gonna give you a time start. Okay, team 3, go for it.
Okay, next, situational analysis. So this is an established dry cleaning and laundry service company operating in Hong Kong since 1993. It's characterized by a large number of family-owned shops, and it's got a part ownership model to manage costs effectively, and it has challenges with staff retention and motivation. Next. The owner's conundrum is to establish the maid as a profitable and scalable business model within the laundry and dry cleaning industry, characterized by quality and efficiency. Next, our key issues on staff quality. It was difficulty in finding and retaining quality staff, the low wages in the industry, societal perceptions, and then competition. It was to offer value-added services, the pricing strategies to remain competitive, and then customer retention strategies in retaining a loyal customer base. And then financial considerations would be the rise in costs. It would be to ensure healthy cash flow, and then cost reduction strategies. And then the limited growth opportunities would be challenges with finding a suitable expansion strategy, and the need to explore alternative growth avenues and the feasibility thereof. Next. The recommendations under staff would be training and upskilling employees, restructuring the payment structure, and changing the perceptions about the laundry industry through marketing. Service offerings, it would be through utilizing surveys for feedback, launching a mobile application that would essentially be Uber for laundry, enhancing brand loyalty through community engagement initiatives and loyalty programs, Under operational efficiency, it would be to negotiate rental agreements with fixed escalation rates and then explore alternative and sustainable energy sources and to implement large.
Good job, good job. No, good job, excellent. All right, sorry, what's your name? What's this team 3? Hi, who are you?
I'm Zandi.
Honey, you're amazing. You're like, next. You're like on a power play. I love it. I was like on a game show. I really thought that. It was so good. I loved this. Guys, I want to say I would say for me, this is one of the first cases that's like hitting it on the head. Okay, it's really, you guys crushed it. Zandi, your team did a really good job. I want to start with this. The OC, again, you didn't pose it as a question, but you got it. Like, you weren't about the 100 shops. You were like, what this bra really needs is like a profitable and sustainable business model. Like, that is what you're out to solve for. And I think that you identified really good key issues. There was a lot going on. So just in terms of presentation, what happens here is right from the front, if you put too much text on as a presenter, you're trapping yourself. So you were literally reading this as you were speaking, and you don't want that for yourself. Like, you want natural flow. So bank like important points here and then speak me through it. So it doesn't sound like a robot reading the words, but the points were good. The key issues was a lot. Okay, so I would generally recommend leaving your key issues to 3 key issues, so you don't end up in the situation, because you need to be able to solve for all of your key issues. If you're putting a key issue forward, your recommendations, one of your 3 recommendations needs to collectively solve for all of those key issues. So don't put a key issue forward that you're not solving for. Okay?
Okay.
Right? But having said that, this was really good for me. Recommendation number 2, I want to just talk to recommendation 1 really quickly. All of you are, or in general, I've been reading that talent is a big issue. All of you have identified it, right? Generally, okay, you're saying that talent is a big issue in this industry. And then a lot of you are recommending this first recommendation, which is staff quality, staff training. Dude, if it was as simple as staff training, everybody would be fucking doing it, right? Like, everybody would have a laundry worker training program. The problem is nobody wants to work in this industry. It sucks. If I'm educated and if I can be trained, I'm going to move on to the next job. Like, you will invest all this money in training the staff, and then they're going to leave because now they're qualified, or they're going to start their own laundry service. If it was as simple as that, it would have been done. This is a really old industry. It would have been addressed. Okay, there's obviously some other complexity of issue here, which needs to be solved through something like tech. Okay, that is why we said think present day context, think creatively, be innovative in your approach. Human problems are impossible to solve in cases. Guys, training and whatever is not the solution. That was the case, we'd never have labor issues in South Africa. Imagine, right? That never works. Human-centric problems are the most complex to solve. The problems you have to solve have to relate to technology. And that's why I actually really loved your Uber for laundry platform as a possible recommendation, but I don't think you saw it as a solution for your staff quality problem. But it could be, because you can make it work. But we're going to talk about that in a second. You're one of the first teams to present a tech-related solution to this problem. Given that it's 2024, I am very disappointed. We're in the age of AI. AI should be running your laundry machines. I don't know how that works, but I am glad that you brought some technology in. And then I didn't hear the last of your recommendation a lot, but that's okay. I am happy with your second recommendation. It still was unclear to me, honestly, what your business model is. Okay, like what your expansion model is. So I know you're doing this Uber for laundry platform, but what are you doing? Are you buying more shops? Are you not buying more shops? Are you franchising? Are you doing whatever? Like, how are you going to fulfill this Uber for laundry platform if you still only have your 3 shops that are inefficient or don't have a lot of talent? Right? Is that a fair question? Did you guys think about that?
Yes, I think the stance that we took was to improve operational efficiencies, because it said the other 2 shops weren't working so well without supervision. So that's why we even said they should have a take-a-lot model, so that it's more like centralized, and then even the Uber for laundry can be also centralized, and then they can think of expansion once they.
Zani, exactly, but you never got to your last point. So I'm not going to bank your take-a-lot model. because you didn't get that in on time, but that is a great recommendation in theory, okay, to have a centralized system with like a great delivery like situation. But I'm not going to allow you to bank that, but the rest of it was very, very good. Well done. Yeah, great first effort. Fantastic. Any questions?
Just a question.
Yes, Kyle.
Regarding your.
Sorry. Ooh. No.
Sorry. Just a question regarding tech and your. Hello, hello. Yes.
Hello?
Okay. I need to speak a little bit. Just a question regarding tech and the human component. Are you saying with technology, the idea is to, sounds like almost eliminate the human component rather than try and fix the human component? Where, rather than focusing on training and retention and those aspects, look at ways at how you can reduce your staffing and leveraging technology-related solutions to drive efficiencies, help facilitate expansion and those sorts of things.
That's a very, I will never give you a binary answer. It's very complex to especially say that in like developing country contexts where labor problems are a huge actually source of employment, right? So you can't be like, oh, I'm going to eliminate all workers and make it all tech, because you'd have a riot on your hands, like a labor relations nightmare. What I'm saying is that don't try to solve human problems with just training, because otherwise somebody else would have done it. Think of more creative solutions to enhance your human experience with technology, or augment it, or make it more efficient. So do like a marriage of both. Yeah. Is that fair? Okay. Generally, don't actually ever say like fire all your people, because the judges will eat you alive, or because it's not realistic, right? You have to think about like local labor laws. You have to think about context. Like there's a lot to think about there, but you can always say you can enhance the experience with technology.
But like, for example, making the job maybe more fun, or simplifying processes and those sorts of things. Look at ways where you can integrate technology and the human aspect rather than bring the humans out, of the equation.
Yeah, like for example, he says in the case, a lot of people don't want to work in laundry because it's boring. Okay, so maybe if I genuinely want to expand and make it epic, like I can think about gamifying the job, right? Where it's like fun for me to be at work, and my bonuses are tied to gaming. It can get very dark, like Amazon, but like you can also think of creative ways to do it. Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Zandi and team. Very well done. Okay, we have team. Who do I now call? Team 1. Team 1.
1, 5, and 7 is left.
1, 5, and 7. Team 1.
Hi, we're Team 1. We're presenting virtually. Can I?
Hi. Brilliant. Okay, so you guys are online virtually. Tracy's up here. So just like Zandi, if you want her to click next, just say next, okay? Are you guys ready?
Here.
Hi, who's presenting from group 1?
I believe Ido had a connection problem earlier this morning. If you will be willing to just give him a few seconds.
Okay, maybe we can move on to group 5.
Okay, and come back. That would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll come back to group 1. No worries.
Okay.
Let's do group 5.
Is group 5 online?
Group 5.
Okay, yeah, we're here.
Brilliant.
Yes, and we're online. If you don't mind, I'll share my screen. We had prepared a recording to share with the rest of the team.
Okay.
Confirm as soon as you can see the screen, so we may start.
Okay, maybe we're gonna have to stop sharing really quickly. All right, you want to give it a shot?
Okay.
Don't worry, no extra points for flair, guys. I'm an objective judge.
2 minutes.
Okay, confirm if you can now see my screen.
You can see your screen. Let me know when I should start your time.
Okay. I think we can. We ready now? Can we go?
Go for it.
Okay.
Hello everyone, Team 5 here. Today we will discuss the maid, a local laundry and dry cleaning business. While they offer good quality, the Made struggles to attract new customers and retain staff. Our goal is to show how they can become an industry leader through strategic investments. The Made operates in a competitive market with low standards, and they lack new business development channels, relying solely on the owner and word of mouth. Uncompetitive salaries and limited training leads to a high staff turnover. Additionally, there is no clear path to employees. The Made keeps missing the mark as they lack a customer feedback group and offer a one-size-fits-all service and neglecting diverse customer needs. We recommend they go digital and launch an online store with pickup and delivery options. This expands their reach and creates a unique selling proposition. There should be an investment in people and the development of training programs to standardize quality and empower staff. Consider a profit sharing or ownership opportunities in future stores can boost loyalty and build a strong team. Implementation of a CRM to track customer data and offer reward programs will create a focus on the customer, and developing service packages catering to different needs from basic to high end. By investing in these channels, their people, and a customer-centric approach, the Made can become an industry leader in quality and service. We recommend further discussion on implementing these recommendations. Thank you.
All right. Damn. Woo, 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 woo. All right, team 5. I did not know what to expect, but that was very cool. I'm still being objective, but I think you guys did a good job. And first of all, I liked that you guys managed your time really well. That was really, actually, you finished it in well under 2 minutes. I also found that the way you structured your presentation was really good, but I'm going to open it up to the audience first. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Yes.
Oh, see, that was a question.
Nice. Let's flip through there. Okay, so brilliant, absolutely. Yoad says that it was the first owner's conundrum that was actually a question. I don't love the way it's structured, but it is very true. It is a question that Mr. Wong might need to answer. Loved, actually, your key well identified. And I loved your recommendations. Like, it was still, I'm still 100% not sure which of the shops you're keeping, if you're expanding stores. I know you're going online, but what's happening with your 3 existing stores, and what are you doing? Like, I'm not sure there. But barring the training and development thing, like, I get it. That's like such a tiny recommendation. We've already talked about this. The other things were really good. Okay, you guys really hit the nail on the head with the fact that at the end of the day, this is a customer front business, right? This is a customer forward business. And very few people were talking about and considering like the customers. So you guys made the customer your priority and worked backwards from there. You created true value, and you are really thinking future forward when you're thinking about moving online. You're really thinking about how your go-to-market strategy in this case. And yeah, I thought it was very well done. It's just unclear to me how you're going to deliver on your actual recommendation, which is like the actual operational stuff. So yeah, that's my question. What is the plan there?
Colleagues on the line?
Yeah. What is the plan? What are you doing with your 3 stores? Are you getting more stores? Are you reducing the number of stores?
I think, okay. I think for a start, I think our focus was to ensure that the business becomes an industry leader. I think we may have missed the point to say, okay, so are we adding more shops or are we maintaining what we have? Our key focus area was to say, how do we then become an industry leader? And I'm sure once that has been done, then we can then move on to the next level to say, let's get more shops, and that's how we'll then grow. The other colleagues online could probably add on that, but I think that was our view, to say let's become the industry leaders for a start, and then we'll grow outwards, having been at the top in the industry for a start. There is Tammy, any other input from you guys?
Yes, could I just to elaborate on what you just said is that we initially said, let's get the customer, let's go to being customer centric, let's get the house in order and know we can trust our employees. And while we don't have a front out there, let's go online and try to create more customers and understand why we're losing customers. And once we've got that covered, let's expand into seeing if we can get another store in similar areas where we can expand to. But let's first start with how are we losing customers and how are we going to maintain them and how can we become customer centric.
Okay, Sigley, I see your hand. Sorry, is this Deriz or is it Derze?
It's Deriz.
Yeah. Hey, Deriz, brilliant. Okay, so I have a quick question for you. So what you've done now, you're a laundry business with 3 laundry shops, and you've now become an online platform. So you've literally transformed your business model to becoming a tech company. Okay. So in theory, very interesting. You've launched your app. Somehow it goes viral on TikTok. You now literally in 1 week have like 20,000 orders. How are you going to fulfill them?
The focus
you are a
discussion was mainly about the, pardon?
Like do you understand like
I am losing you on my side, so the question is not really clear. I'm not sure if my colleagues can jump in on that.
Okay. Yeah, we take note of that point. But like we said earlier, I think the focus was to become the leader in the industry for now. But I think it's something that we may have overlooked to say, if our strategy works, and within a week we get all those customers that we would have wanted to get, what would be our plan B? So yeah, we take note of that of that point, and I suppose we should have provided for steps to quickly, whilst we are focusing on becoming customer centric and ensuring we get plenty of customers. At the same time, we should also have had another plan to increase our shops running at the same time. Thanks.
Thank you. I think I love it. I'm just saying, and I think you guys have lost sight of what your core business is. That is the problem. So it's not a plan B. Your laundry business isn't your plan B. Your laundry business is your plan A. Even if you manage to become industry leaders, which is impossible because you don't have operations, you're not going to be industry leaders for long because you can't fulfill your orders. So it's going to damage your brand. You're going to destroy all the goodwill you've built through maybe possibly amazing marketing, and then nobody's going to use your service. So you have to build both congruently. Like marketing is a support service to your core business, which is laundry. Do you see what I mean? So you cannot be an industry leader if you don't have the actual infrastructure to fulfill your business, right?
Yeah.
I would have liked to see more of that come through. Siklele, do you still have a question, or was that answered?
Yes, I do. Just with the invest in human capital, what do we mean when we say build trust in employees? Was there an issue with trust, and how would we do it?
Okay. I think somewhere in the case study, there's somewhere where Mr. Wong indicated that he didn't quite trust his employees to run the business. And yeah, there's somewhere where he said a lot of laundry owners were nasty owners. I couldn't hire them because they had their own style. If they'd managed their own businesses or if they've damaged their own businesses or gone bankrupt, how could I trust them to supervise our shops? So from that point, we thought there was also a bit of trust issues from coming from Mr. Wong to his employees. And yeah, I think that is where that was coming from.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for the question. All right, but I just want to say, what team was this? Team
5.
Team 5, really well done. Just remember your core business first before you go really pie in the sky. But it was a very good effort and very well structured and good key recommendations. Thank you so much. I know it sounds like I was being harsh, but I'm harshest to those who I believe are best. You deserve greatness. Well done, well done. I'm not biased at all. Just kidding. Okay, team 1, are you ready? Are you back on, or should I call on team 7?
Team 3. Shivani, can I just read it?
Yes, we're ready now.
Oh, sorry. Group 1, please hang on. There's an online question.
The question is more general. In the real world, would pre-recorded presentations not be a disadvantage when dealing with a client?
Yeah, for sure. I think I wouldn't recommend them. Like if you're doing it with a client, like don't do a pre-recorded thing. But I can understand why this team did it, possibly just in the interest of time, or maybe they're worried that their colleague wouldn't be able to present today or wasn't available. So I understand that. So in some instances it might be warranted, but I wouldn't do it myself. Yeah, but good question. Yeah. Okay, group 1 is on. All right, are you guys 100% ready? Like this time? Is it happening?
Yes, we're ready. We're ready. Could you please allow me to share my screen?
Oh, you want to share screen? Okay, okay.
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay, just hold on. So to be sure that no. Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. We are Group 1, Pioneer Consulting. We have reviewed the information given to us on the information pack, and we have identified on 2 levels factors that are key to the success of Mr. Wong's objectives, which are micro and macro. On the macro front, operations, target market, and human capital. Operations are suboptimal and informal. Target market is undefined, and it has a challenge deciding between retail and corporate. And human capital, there's low employee morale and untrained and low-skilled employees. On the owner's conundrum, we feel that we are wondering whether Mr. Wong is getting it wrong because his problem is an entrepreneur's dilemma, which is a balancing act between running a profitable business and having a structured expansion of the MAID. On key issues, we have identified human capital and human capital management and retention, the stigmatization of the industry, low attraction, high demand and mismatched expectations of employees, motivation and low motivation and employee reward challenges. On operational efficiency, there's inefficient cost and expense management, and there's a challenge also in adopting AI in running his business. On the expansion strategy, we have identified that his operations are not, expansion is not standardized, and there's quality control and optimization of the structure. And we also consider an issue of aggressive expansion model, which he hasn't decided upon. And there's the problem of undefined target market. On the recommendations, on the recommendations, on human capital and retention, sorry, my screen is, okay. We feel that Mr. Wong.
Stop, sorry. Well done, good attempt. Okay, we're not gonna count the recommendation slide. Oh no, so sad.
Yeah.
Okay, team, well done. I'm gonna ask the audience if anybody has any questions. Do you wanna stop sharing? Please, thank you. Anybody have any questions in the audience? Nope. Go for it. Sabu.
But a comment. I sort of like how they structured it. Had short-term
and long term, and it speaks to their key issues. So the recommendations, I mean, they have short term, medium term, and long term, and it's almost directly addressing their key issues. I love that structure.
No, that's a great comment. So sad we couldn't hear their actual recommendations, but I do agree that it was really nice that you put them in short, medium, and long term, and you try to address each of your key issues directly, which is what I mentioned earlier. That's a very good way to present it. I also really liked your situation analysis, which is like your desired state of where you want to be and how things are currently, so you can highlight to your judges or your clients where you want to go and where you currently are. I also like this, that you kind of questioned, like, is Mr. Wong even fooling himself? Like, what does he actually want? Obviously, if I was presenting this to Mr. Wong, which is what all of you are doing, I would probably I would probably word this a little bit better. But good work. It's still not a question like, what is Mr. Wong setting out to answer? But I understand. And yeah, like same as everybody else, good work here. I liked that you really were very good about identifying your specific areas of concern. Okay, so the expansion strategy and the market positioning, like that was great. Honestly, that's like his biggest thing. It's like, am I going corporate or am I going retail? Which way am I expanding? Like through what strategy? And it was a really good attempt. Good job. I see again the human capital talent stuff coming through. It came through for a lot of people. Controversial, but I think it's a red herring. I actually think it can be completely done away with. You know, if you think of creative ways to solve problems, then it doesn't even have to come through in your case. And you can just address it with like, this is a small key issue, but we don't think it is the primary key issue. Okay, all right, well done, team. Thank you. All right. Okay, last but not least, we're gonna call on team 7 for the last one.
Online.
Yeah. Our team 7 in oh, team 7 is here. Yeah, I think so. Wait, let me just pull up your presentation. Try it out. Let's see how it goes. But don't start yet. I have to. Is this your first slide?
Yes. Okay. Like tap it to test it.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. You need a mic.
It's here.
Okay. Situation analysis, the market environment, the fragmented market dominated by family-owned shops. Most chain stores are probably less than 20 shops in informal operations.
You got it. You got it.
Market segments, it's a corporate and retail. Customers, no customer savvy, quality and convenience. 20% corporate of the revenue is corporate. Strategy is focused on internal operations, not customer oriented. Opportunities within the industry is professionalism, room for change development, economies of scale, and customer oriented. Internal situation is proven turnaround strategy, profitable stores, good revenue streams, and low liquidity. How to expand my business within 5 years without sacrificing my profitability or personal perks. Key issues. The company does not have a clear customer approach. Insufficient customer information is known and no detailed survey are performed. Advertising and sales is inadequate and to attain and retain customers. It's not clear what customer segment the company wants to focus on. Finding good staff is challenging. Few good experienced candidates are available. New hires usually don't last. Working in the laundry industry has an unclean stigma. Wages within the industry are considered poor. The operations are not set up for expansion. Management from head office is too hands-on. Liquidity problems from risk for the business, especially during expansion phase. Recommendations: develop a clear customer approach, identify customer needs and wishes.
Well, so well.
So good, so good. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. All right, that was the last of our presentations.
I want to say, Cynthia, you got a swagger, like, but it's like directed at the screen, man. You must show us your personality when you present. You must face us. Oh well, good effort. Okay, okay. I'm gonna say just like key pointers as the others. Guys, try not to put too much text on your slides. It not only distracted me, but it distracted you. You were like, oh, what did I cover? What did I not read? You see what I mean? So you weren't able to speak from your heart and make the points that you wanted to. Would you agree, or what do you think?
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. I feel like the adrenaline is like in you right now. Okay. I'm serious right now. Slides. You'll see my slides. Sometimes I only have one word on them. Okay. The real star is you. Okay. You need to be able to draw attention to yourself and make your points and convince the person. Nothing you put on the slides is going to convince the person to go with you. You are going to convince the person to go with you. Okay. So make your life better and easier. I don't know why I'm using 2 mics. I've just had this realization. Okay. Use as little text on the slides as possible. Instead, use infographics. Like, what are they called? Icons. Just coin them on there. They give you like a little tip, like, okay, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about that next. Memorize your points. You guys had a whole week to do this, right? Like a week.
5 days.
Okay, you had 5 days to do this. Do you know how much time you have in a real case to do this? You have 3 hours to read your case and do the whole slide deck and present. And then you have 20 minutes to present. Imagine. So you need to know the case inside out, and you need to know it in your heart, and you need to be able to present it out. Don't rely on your slides. They're going to be a crutch. Can I tell you another secret? If the less you put on your slides, the more you can bullshit. Okay? So if it's on your slides, then you can't backtrack. And you can't be like, oh, I never said Uber is the next whatever, right? It's on there. They caught you. But if it's not on there, you can improvise a little bit. I know earlier I said like you can't backtrack, but if it's on your slides, then you can't backtrack. But if you've not put anything on there, you can get a bit more liberal and creative in your speaking in that moment. Not in the Q&A, by then it's too late. You only have your pitch to present your case. By Q&A, you haven't thought about it. In your pitch, you can go with the flow. Okay. This was the best OC I've seen all day, guys, I must say. It was truly a question, and it was posed from the eyes of Mr. Wong. So very well done to your team. Okay, I don't know where the 5 years comes from. Was it in the case?
No, but it must be time-bound, smart goals.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you. 100%. I really appreciate that. 100%, guys. You can BS it, but you can just say, we came up with this. Obviously, Mr. Wong is a businessman. He has a payback period. He has aspirations. He needs to figure his shit out in 5 years. Good, amazing. And you did a good job. So I see you're like trying to balance profitability versus like his work-life balance situation. So best OC I've seen all day. Thank you so much. Because this question, if you answer this question, it'll help you decide the 100 stores or not. Right? This is the real question when you answer, would be like, okay, am I really profitability focused? And if so, is 100 stores the way to make profitability happen? And you don't get stuck in the red herring of 100 stores. Okay, this is the same as everybody else, all good. I'm not even gonna go over this because you didn't cover it, okay? Okay, so well done, everybody. Thank you so much for all of your first efforts.
Shivani,
yes.
Make a comment
on. Please.
I think for me, when it comes to key issues, this team, I didn't see it on previous teams or previous presentation, but what they brought to the fore is, what they brought up is the key issue 3, that point, management from head office is too hands-on. And I thought that was a good point, because if you are doing what you're not supposed to do as a leader of a business, then you are just kind of like mixing things up. You are operational, you are trying to move on with the strategy of the company. So I think this actually answers the previous team's question. Is Mr. Wong wrong? Because he's mixing things up. He wants to be hands-on, he wants to be there, but what is his role? So he has to also identify what his role is.
100%.
So I like that point.
It's so vital. And you can keep it there. Guys,
this is a really good point that you could use to justify a not expansion strategy. So you literally say, look at this, like Mr. Wong can barely manage his 3 shops. He doesn't trust people. Like we can't go an expansion strategy. Maybe we need a centralized strategy because of his vibes. So this is a really good point. Thank you for highlighting that. Okay, so I know I said no breaks, but I'm actually going to give you a 5-minute break. So just a big round of applause for everybody. Thank you so much for making great effort.
It's just a question online.
Yes, yes. Go for
Hi.
it, Esme.
Yes, thank you. I'm just wondering if your OC shouldn't be connected to every issue, or my question is, yeah, should that question or that OC run through every key issue and how each key issue can address the question of, maintaining work-life balance and still remaining profitable. So you'd say, okay, the customer approach, how can you lessen your burden in terms of time that you have to put into it, but still make it work and still spend time with your family? Moving on to the next key issue, how can you, still have time for yourself and find good stuff at the same time? I'm just asking if that is normally done that way or not.
100%. Okay. The reason we start with OC, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more, is because everything that you do needs to be through the lens of what is the actual question that your owner or the protagonist of your case is trying to answer. When you do that, you don't veer too far off what the case is actually asking you to do. So it's going to come very naturally. You'll see it. But in this instance, yeah, whoever did this did a really good job of tying it back into these things are going to prevent him from having work-life balance. So therefore, maybe they are really big key issues. So Esme, great question, 100%. Yeah? Thanks. Okay, anybody else?
Thanks.
Okay, we're taking a 5-minute break. Those of you online, please come back because we're now going to dive into the fundamentals of solving a case together. Right? And here, we're lucky to have some coffee, I think, and tea, so go for it.
This is such a great learning experience, and it's so
yeah. How's the lady?
Sorry to everybody else who had to hear about my coffee intake earlier, about the mic situation. Has that ever happened to you? Like you have a mic on, you go to the toilet or something?
It works in corporate events where the speakers go to the toilet when they forget.
Yeah, my goodness.
Not to me peeing, but somebody in the speaker peeing. Like, take the mic back.
So awkward. Okay, brilliant. Should we get started? Everybody good? Feeling alive? You in the space? Can I get a whoop whoop? Wow, what a dead crowd. Is this how Stellenbosch shows up? Bleak, guys, bleak. Okay, let us jump right into it. So, my question to you, all of you, even online, you can unmute yourself. What is the sole purpose of a business?
Maybe.
I'll take that as a answer, and also EXCO members are not allowed to answer this question. All right, to make money. Okay, so let's say a profit. Cool. What else? Anybody?
Solve a problem or fill a gap.
To solve a problem or fill a gap. Beautiful. Okay, yes, love that response. What is the sole purpose? Tyson.
I would say to generate value for customers.
Yes, ding, 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 ding. 100%. Okay, the sole purpose of any business is to create value. And to create value for who, Tyson?
For the customers.
100%. Thank you, Tyson. I think it can be really easy to get lost in a business, to say that the purpose of a business is to maximize profit for shareholders, right? All of us know that standard definition. Okay. Fam, shareholders aren't even coming until much, much, much later. Your business won't even get to the point of shareholding if you don't have customers and if you haven't created value for your customers.
And what do I mean, or what do we mean? What does Tayson mean when he says create value? What is value? Is this like a business school? Don't you guys get called on by
You're
your professors
embarrassing
all
the
time?
SBS.
Come on, fam. Okay, how do you define value? Fungani's got an answer.
I think it's satisfying a need. Or you creating value by satisfying a customer need.
Yeah.
Can I leave it at there?
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Anybody else? How do you define value? Guys, you said value and then, yeah, Johnny.
Value is something that somebody's willing to pay for.
Okay, amazing. All right. So value is something that somebody is willing to pay for. Okay, love that response. All right. Anybody else?
When you've taken something and then added or processed, and then the output is greater than the input, the difference is value.
Well, okay, so we just had an amazing definition, which is you have something, raw material, whatever, you've like done something with it, a process, and then the output has a greater value or utilization or use than what the input was. Beautiful. Okay, amazing. Any traditional responses, guys? I'm waiting for like a usual. What is value?
Solving a problem.
But like value is what? Like a lot of people would say value is profit, right?
Delivering something meaningful to your customer base.
Okay, delivering something meaningful. All right, yeah, and that can be impact also, right? Yeah. Worth. Okay. All right, I'll go with that. I'm gonna bring us back to profit, okay? Because I think it's not a wrong answer. In fact, it is the number one answer that most business people would give you is how they define value is actually profit, okay? I see is there a question in the chat? Is there a response question? Value can also equal customer satisfaction, yeah. But the most traditional way that most businesses would quantify and define profit or define value is through profit. But with this point, I actually have a follow-up question. Okay. All of you know Uber, right? Fam, I'm literally gonna leave. Do all of you know Uber? Yes. Okay. Can anybody tell me, no Googling, how long did it take Uber to become profitable?
Only recently, I think they posted their first profit. I might be wrong.
Wow, Exco is so extra in the back here. Anybody else? Uber. Don't Google it online, people. How long did it take Uber to become profitable? Go for it, Rian.
I'm guessing, but 8 years.
8 years, okay. Guess, cool. Anybody else? Any guesses? Taking guesses. Going once, going twice. All right. Fam, okay, Uber was founded in 2009. In 2019, they had their IPO. So they went public 10 years later. They only posted their first profit in February of this year. Okay. So how long is that? 15 years after founding, more than 6 years after going public, Uber posted their first profits. So if you define value as profits, Uber is not a great case study, right? But what did Uber do? Did Uber create value for its customers? How did Uber create value for its customers? What would you say Uber does for you? Go for it. Okay, convenience. Okay. Uber is the world's largest taxi service, hailing company, and they own 0 cars. They've literally revolutionized the eye-gouging, eye-stabbing market of taxis. They have created value for every customer. In addition, they've created immense value for their employees, not employees, they're drivers, right? Like literally hundreds of thousands of people around the world today can have an alternate source of income. It might be exploitative, to be debated, but it has created value for all of those people who couldn't have tapped into this market. So much value. What is the third value that Uber has created? Something that's not so easy to define.
Industry disruption.
Okay. Yeah, like tech industry disruption. What I'm looking for in a response is they have generated and created an intangible asset that is
like invaluable, okay? We literally today use Uber as a verb. Guys, we say, I'm Ubering to work, okay? How crazy is that? Their literal brand is ubiquitous with transportation, with getting from one place to the other. That is value generation, right? The use of that word, the presence of that brand. Whether they were profitable or not, I can guarantee you one day they would have become profitable because they have the world's largest market share. And as soon as COVID happened, and even now, how easy was it to pivot into delivery, grocery delivery, whatever delivery? Bam, they've like opened up a whole new leg of their business because they're doing so well and they have a massive market share, right? This is the power of generating true value for your customers. Flexible, large-scale job creation, brilliant, yes. So, how do you drive value? Number one, grow profits. That's the obvious one, okay? Grow market share, all right? This is exactly what N number of massive startups have done that became unicorns. They were not profitable for the longest time. What did Facebook do? What did all these companies do? Do you guys remember when we were like at some point in high school, there was a survey that Facebook did. It's like, would you be willing to pay $1 for our services? I don't know. I don't know if I'm too old or too young. Like this happened. This happened. They like sent out as well. Yeah, and literally everybody and their mother was like, no, I'm not paying for this. It's free. But have they monetized the shit out of their business? Yes. How did they do that? They have a massive market share. You don't pay for this service, but they make a ton of money off of you and your data. Okay, how have they done this? Through growing market share. And then building intangible assets. So this is literally what we talked about right now. What are intangible assets? It is things that you can't monetize exactly, but are invaluable, okay? Your brand. Marketing expert here, you can tell us a bit more about that. Okay. Could be some IP. Okay. Nobody knows about it. What is Coca-Cola's secret recipe? Like, what is in finger licking spice? Who knows? That shit is worth bazillions, but we'll never know, and that is their intangible asset, okay? It's their IP. That is how they drive value for their customers. Yeah. Is it an intangible asset? Look, I don't know. Sorry, you want to go first? Please.
No, I was just going to say not always, but
not always. Tell us about it. I don't know. I told you guys, don't believe anything I said. I'm not the expert. Want to go first? Do you know anything?
No, I'm not going to expand on it. But
a response.
No, I'm not going to. I don't know. My initial response is to say no, but I'm trying to now think of a realistic example of how that might come to be. The top of my head.
All right, no worries. But maybe you can Google it. You know.
I could give the accounting response.
Yes, please. Yes.
Who wants the mic to give the accounting response?
Okay, we're getting an accounting response. The question was, is IP an intangible asset?
Oh,
sorry. It's a patent, sorry.
Oh no. I got the question wrong then.
Go ahead with IP then.
Oh no, I was going to answer whether a patent is an intangible asset.
Yes.
So the definition of an intangible asset, according to accounting standards, is that, or the primary requirement is that there should be some kind of prospective value that you'll be generating for the business. So whether it's future income that's coming in, etc. So yeah, it can be, but if it isn't going to generate any value that's controllable by the business, then it wouldn't qualify as a intangible asset. So if you have a patent that's just sitting there, that's not really useful, then
I'm just looking at my other definitions of intangible assets, and we talked about brands. Okay. Also a large customer base. So we've talked about this. It's very difficult to quantify that, but if you have like a loyal and large customer base, that's intangible. Okay. And then your distribution network can be an intangible strategic asset as well. Okay. So somehow if you are like the best last mile delivery because you're blue ribbon bread and you go to every single spaza shop in the country, man, that is intangible. Okay. You can monetize the shit out of that. You can be selling anything. You partner with anybody. That is an immense asset to have, and that is immense value creation.
So when you think about, as a business owner, as a startup person, as an executive trying to solve a problem, when you think about creating value on your balance sheet, don't start with revenue and profit. Those are easy. Everybody can do that. Start with value creation and long-term value creation. So that is the question that we should have been trying to answer for Mr. Wong today, okay? How do we drive value creation for the maid? Keep that in the back of your mind as we continue. Let's talk about the 4 pillars of a successful business. We actually mentioned this very briefly. Meekness did just now. What is the first thing that you need to address when you think of a business? What's the first elementary step if you're starting a business? What is the question you ask yourself? Go for it.
Need.
Customers need. Okay, 100%. Does the market have a need for a product or service? Do I have a need for a product or service? Am I really irritated by the fact that I can't find parking in town ever? How do I resolve this? Maybe everybody else is. It's a problem that needs solving. Okay. So now if you have, as a startup founder, you have a great product, you've come up with some cool tech, but it literally isn't a problem for anybody, it's not solving a market need, sorry, I'm here to tell you that it's not going to bounce. Okay? Next, you need to, in response to this need, have a product or service that is going to fulfill this market need. Okay, so the product cannot come before the need. You have to identify the need first. So, in the instance of Mr. Wong, let's go back here. What was the market need that he identified?
Was it as simple as the laundry service itself? I don't know.
The laundry service, go for it.
Because Hong Kong's apartments are so small, they don't have space for washing machines.
Okay.
Probably there's a need for that.
So Mr. Wong identified a laundry service as a need. He identified the fact that in Hong Kong, apartments don't have laundry machines. They're really tiny. So laundry machines continuously, yeah, okay. What else? Build on this.
You professionalize service because it was very informal.
Right. So everybody, the unique need that Mr. Wong isn't trying to answer is laundry service, right? There's 1,700 laundry service providers in Hong Kong. Okay. He sees that there is no formalization of this industry. There's no quality. There's no consistency. Okay. So he identifies that 15% tiny market right now that is formalized laundry service chains as an opportunity, as a need. So customers want consistency and quality in their product of laundry. Laundry is a given. That, I think, is a unique need. What else? Add to that.
I just want to ask a question. How does he know that that's a need for customers?
That's not being met. Because, I mean, if you look at the Hong Kong laundry industry, it's quite saturated. And again, coming back to the urban aspect and the need for that type of service because of the lack of a washing machine or dryer within an apartment, for example.
I'm going to say that I think this is the case because they interviewed customers. There was a statement that said that they are in the need for. There was a statement where they said customers are looking for, oh, here it is. Okay. From talking to customers, Wong found people look for quality and convenience in laundry shops, right? So I don't know how big his survey was, but this is how he has ascertained and come to the conclusion that this is the gap in the market that he is trying to solve. Sounds fair? But really good question, right? We can't make this assumption. However, we can say that maybe this was the statement that helped us get in this direction. Brilliant. Anybody else want to add to anything? Kudzai.
The weather conditions within Hong Kong, where there were so many apartments with very little space, which meant people could not own their own washing machines. At the same time, for the apartment people to be drying their clothes outside, it was also not very convenient and good because of the weather conditions where there was so much pollution and rainy weather.
Absolutely. I think that further reinforces the basic need of a laundry service for sure. And then we're still trying to narrow that down into like what niche laundry service is he trying to
what market is he trying to tap into? Go for it.
My question relates to obviously the quality and convenience aspect, but it wasn't quantified. It was more of a sounded like some informal kind of customer service.
Are you an engineer? Okay, 100%. Great question. I'm just saying that don't get too much in the weeds. Let's just say that that is the one statement that from which he's ascertained that this is his differentiating product. Otherwise, he would just go with like his 3 or like 1 or 2 shops, right? Yeah. He's going for the chain because he believes that this is.
Some businesses do start like that with a bit of a hunch in terms of they identify a need, but they're not quite sure how big that need is. And if it is a lot bigger than initially thought, then you have an amazingly successful business.
100%. So one of the recommendations maybe you can even give in your implementation can be, we're recommending an expansion strategy, but the first thing we need to do before you recommend this expansion strategy is to do a serious survey, okay? To do a serious customer survey to understand whether there's actually a need and desire for quality and blah, blah, blah from the customers, or do they just want cheap, quick, whatever it is. So you need to understand and identify that value proposition or the area of the market that you're going to play, right? Okay, cool. All right, so for now, let's go with he's identified from this one statement, people are looking for quality and convenience in laundry shops. And that is the niche he wants to play in, okay? He wants to provide consistency through his chain, which is the maid. Okay. So that goes to our next part of what a pillar of a business is. It's a product or service. So the way Mr. Wong believes he can fulfill this need is through a chain of shops for now. That is what he thinks, right? That's the best thing he's come up with. He hasn't come up with anything else. He just thinks it's a chain of shops. That's his response, right? Did he suggest anything else? Any other product or services? I know we.
Insurance.
Right?
Insurance.
Yeah. That was a very weird red herring for me. And then I literally saw the word and I crossed out the whole paragraph and I didn't read it. But I want to hear more about it. Do you guys think that's something that he can is that worth it?
I think if he gets volume from selling a few cents of insurance on every single item,
might be monetizable.
I am just heading to the insurance page. Okay. So I think he says, however, if shops were to sell insurance to customers, the cost of insurance might be higher than the cost of dry cleaning, luxury, branded goods, and access. I don't know. I think I read it as like, it maybe wasn't like worth it. But let's take that as a possibility.
Perhaps for luxury goods, it might be more expensive to get insurance, but if you take the volume of all the other insurance needs, it might be profitable to sell a few cents.
I love that. Let's bank that. Let's bank that as a possible product or service that we can monetize. Can I come back to you? Remember how we said products or services after need? So we identified need as laundry. We didn't identify need as need to protect our laundry. You know what I mean? So now we've gone to a whole other wing. But I like it. I like it as a ancillary service that we can provide.
To the insurance point, very often the case that, so if you have luxury clothing, you might want to insure it, but it's too expensive. But the masses, your market that you think you can sell insurance to is the ones with the cheap clothing, but they're not going to buy insurance because their clothing is cheap. So there's a gap in the market, but is there a market in the gap, as my boss always says?
Would you say it's sensible to start by creating a product or service based on a need that you market in the future?
It's possible. What if that need doesn't happen? I mean, if it's a low risk product dev, don't be investing like $3 billion into it. If it's like you're coding in your dad's garage, I think that could be worth it. I want to identify another product or service that came up in the case that nobody's brought up yet, but you want to go for it first?
No, I was just going to link the two where we mentioned quality and convenience. So higher quality service, more convenience, and then on the product side, on the product and service side, having higher-end washing machines that would maybe be less likely to damage high-value items, for example.
I like that you've brought us back to our need, which was quality and convenience. But then you brought us to like machine, but you didn't bring us to convenience, which is like, how do we address the convenience of the customer?
Only really
Focus on the quality.
Yeah.
But I like that you brought us there because, guys, none of our solutions or things are really talking about convenience, except in our solutions where we talked about the Uber thing and the other things. So we really need to keep in mind that they're also looking for convenience. Did any of you read about how this bra like developed his own point of sale thing? Damn, that like he could monetize that. There's 1,700 laundry shops who are probably all struggling with some random point of sale software that they have to pay a lot for. And he's already developed one, and nobody picked that up. It could be a red herring, but it could also be a quick buck on the side. If that is a need, if we identify the need as the laundry service needs revolutionizing, the industry itself, if that was the need. There's a hand. Okay, Esmarie.
Yes, thank you. I'm just wondering, so he talked about, value-added services and adding disinfectant and washing larger items and special materials. So my question is, does that fall on the product side or is it still part of the need?
For me, that was we're going to come to it right now in one of the future categories of a business, but it's what your value proposition is, okay? So that's how you're differentiating your business from other people. You're not actually fulfilling a elementary need there, because the elementary need is just the laundry, okay? How you're differentiating yourself from the customer is going to come next. Is that okay? Will you hang tight for that section?
Oh, I'm too early. Thank you.
Malloy.
Morning. So I think I just want to go back. Sorry, I had my hand up earlier. I just want to go back to the need because a need, from a marketing perspective, a need is not always there. So I found that there's brands that literally generate the need. So I don't know that I want something up till it's there. So there's always that potential for generating a new need, even if there wasn't one there. And I think that's what leads into the convenience. If you've always been doing something, then suddenly there's a solution for it. Then you're like, oh, I didn't know that I needed that. Okay, but I do need it now. So that's the thing about need. And then the other one around the product, the made, I think in itself, the word, the made, is all encompassing. So perhaps he can also look at, I think just to jump on the Uber on-demand methodology, you can extend to cleaning services. So it might not necessarily only be laundry, but the possibility of getting on-demand made services to come in and assist. I think it also speaks to, to my first point around not knowing that there is a need. There's a huge focus on work-life balance. And I think the 3 points which were made is that people take their laundry based on the reasons mentioned earlier around pollution, the rainy weather, the inclement weather, but also people with maids, that do work in their houses, they still take their laundry to the laundromat. So around that, I've spoken so long, I can't even remember my point now. But
Malloy,
okay.
I'm gonna address both of your points. I love your number one point, which is the marketing thing. And I want to say that is so unique and so interesting. The question that I would have for you is, do you think that, so I would call them like maybe like impulse buys or like not need buys. So they're more like wants, okay? I feel that developing a sustainable business is not really possible with wants. Like you guys remember Wish? Okay, everybody bought like a Kakis 10 Rand earphones, headphones from there, and then they never bought anything else from there again, right? They bombarded you with adverts and you're like, yeah, got it. But then it didn't create a sustainable business for me in my mind. So yes, you can create some sort of artificial need, but I don't think it'll last you in the long run. So if your business model is like, listen, I know like, Stanley tumblers are the shit right now, like I'm just gonna go ham, it might serve you for like 3 months or 6 months, but when the trend fades or when the disposable income goes, your business is gonna be the first one to fail because your business is reliant on somebody having disposable income. So when you're in a recession, nobody's buying the things that you advertise at them. Is that fair? As just a point. I'm not disputing it because I do think it works in today's day and age right now, but I think it works because we live in an unparalleled time of screen time and a little bit of disposable income.
Okay, just to bring back, just as to probe your statement, is that if you think of Maslow's hierarchy, right? So there's needs, which are the physiological, the security, probably the bottom three. And then when a person has self-actualized in inverted commas, that's when we play into the luxury premium market that you don't really need it, but you want it because you can perhaps afford it. And that's where the question of opportunity cost comes in, where it's not about meeting a basic need, but satisfying the ego, for lack of a better description. So to go back to the work-life balance, instead of you taking the laundry to the laundromat, you integrate it with the Uber service where it comes and collects it from your house and takes it to the laundromat and brings it back. There, it's not a need, it's a want. I don't want to go there, but I still need to have my laundry cleaned.
I love it. Let's bank it. Let's go with it. I think we're going into solutioning mode right now, but we're still at the needs and product services level, okay? But let's keep it. I think you have wonderful insights, and I want to hear more of that as we go. So the next thing would probably feed into something that you're talking about, Mallory, right now, and in general, which is now that you've identified the need, you've identified the product or service that is going to be able to fulfill that need, you now need to understand what your business model is to fulfill this need with your actual product and service. So what do I mean when I say business model? Can anybody think of anything? We've talked about so many business models today, actually.
Customer, your value proposition, your gone a bit blank. There's several elements.
No, all good. It's the way in which you fulfill, in which you get this product to your customer in a way that it creates value, right? So what your channels are, how your processes are more efficient, all of this is part of your business model, okay? And then the final thing that a few of you have been mentioning, you're getting very excited and thirsty about, and the final part is something called SCA, which is your sustainable competitive advantage. Okay. Now, you found the need. Brilliant. Okay, you can fulfill the need. You found a product that can fulfill it. You're doing amazing. You're the first one in there. Okay, you've got an amazing business model. You've set up your factory. You have a great online channel. You're doing great. Oh, shit. Before you know it, the competitors are watching you. They're going, oh, my goodness, look at this amazing Stanley Cup. We got to come in with the fake versions of it. Okay. How do you maintain your sustainable competitive advantage in what was originally a blue ocean, but is now full of sharks? That is your final frontier. That is where you go out to battle. That is where most brands are today, right? Very few people still have a first mover advantage. Everybody has competition. And this is where you defend your territory. And this is where a lot of you are coming up with interesting and key ways to differentiate your product. So who mentioned something earlier about differentiating? So, oh yeah, we talked about like this bra is adding detergent and doing whatever in his products. That is what he thinks is his key sustainable competitive advantage, okay? He's differentiating himself from the competitors by doing this. So these are your 4 key pillars of a successful business. I want you to keep this in mind. What is Mr. Wong's current business model? It's a 3 shops, and it's literally people are dropping off services, some corporate clients, okay? In fact, he doesn't even have a good business model, and he's thinking about expanding. I would tell Mr. Wong to go back and actually identify his key business model for even his existing 3 shops. Okay, make that better, make that concrete, develop a sustainable competitive advantage, and that could be brand, right? So that could be the Maid becomes like known, ubiquitous with quality and convenience. Okay, they have an amazing delivery service. The app is so phenomenal. Everybody's using it. Okay, now he can expand. So how do you maintain a sustainable competitive advantage? Consistency. Possibly, I think the #1 thing is product innovation, okay? So if you have a special product that nobody else does, that's your first frontier, okay? So I'll give you an example. My professor who I spoke about earlier, Johannes Schuler, he brought Chuckles to South Africa. They didn't exist before. It's his fault. He brought this whatever chocolate-coated delicious malt ball to South Africa and it went ham, okay? Amazing. That was the product innovation, step number 1. Okay. Lo and behold, bam, every other confectionery maker's like, yo, this is selling out the wazoo. We're gonna copy this. Okay. We're literally gonna duplicate this malt ball covered in chocolate. So what has he lost? He's lost his sustainable competitive advantage for his product. What is his next step now in this example?
Innovation, product innovation.
But we've already product innovated with this ball. I want to know.
There's other SKUs in that.
He's gonna make long Chuckles now. Like, okay, but let's stick with Chuckles. His heart is set on Chuckles. He wants to defend his territory and be the Chuckle King. Yes.
Quality?
Quality, yeah. Okay, exactly. But how do we do quality? What would I have to do to ensure quality? Yes. Okay, somebody said process, okay? So I have an amazing Chuckle bowl. Everybody's coming in to compete with me, and I need to have my next level of sustainable competitive advantage. Okay, that's a mouthful. I'm gonna say SCA from now. So I want to keep my Chuckles and I want them to be the best darn Chuckles and I want to make them efficiently. So I fly to Germany, whatever, I find out how they do it there. Their factory is super efficient. They have a special machine and I'm going to start sourcing my chocolate from only one place in the world and I'm going to sign in like a non-disclosure and a whatever SLA with them and they can only supply me with this best chocolate in the world. Bam, I've created another barrier for my competitors. My factory is so good, you can't beat my prices because it's so efficient. And I have this special chocolate that you can sure as hell never get. Okay. Oh, snap. Okay, Woolies comes in and like they've got all the money in the world and they offer my special chocolate guy an amazing rate. I can't compete with it. Shit. I've lost my chocolate guy. Okay. Big company comes in and they have better machinery. They have more money to throw at this. I've lost my SCA again. What do I do next? What's my next possible SCA? All right, so tell me, be bold, claim it.
Be customer service, like offering your consumers a service that they're not getting from.
Yeah, okay. So here in the room we have customer service, possibly. Okay. Malloy, is your hand still up or is that from before? Okay,
Sorry, it's the legacy hand. Down.
Esmery has a way to deal with our process innovation SCA problem.
No, I'll just take a stab at it, but I was wondering if customer loyalty, brand loyalty has anything to do with it.
Beautiful. Okay, so we have customer service and we have brand and customer loyalty. And actually all of this comes under something called business model innovation. Okay, so business model innovation is actually quite a bunch of things. Okay, so it's how do you create, deliver, and capture value. Okay, and you can do this through a number of ways, but brand loyalty, for example, is one of them. Okay, so now Johannes, because he's like, oh, I can't compete with these big behemoth companies, but you know what I can say is, I can say local is lekker. Okay, I go with like, this is my brand positioning. Nobody can fight me on this because I'm such a small, like mom and pop shop, whatever, like buy local business, buy small business. I create like a crazy Instagram campaign. People are falling for this. Like people are sick of COVID stuff and they don't want to support big companies. They want to support their local guy. Bam, like there is my business model innovation. That's an example. Right? So in this case, it might be very difficult for a big company to not compete with him because they can't make the same claims, right? Yeah.
If you take the example of Woolworths and Chuckles,
yes,
like my colleague Amelia said, distribution, or how you get your product to market could be a key differentiator or means for. It's obviously a business model factor.
It is. Business model innovation is also your delivery network, right? So Johannes might do this with his local is lekker, but Woolies is going to be like, bam, we can enter every shop in the whole world, so we beat your sustainable competitive advantage. That's their SCA, okay, their delivery networks. So everybody has their own. I'm just showing you that there are ways to work around it. There's never a right answer, but I want you to continuously think about how you can maintain your sustainable competitive advantage. You're always going to have to, because competitors are always chomping at your heels. You can never rest with a product, no matter what it is. And we've used a very small example here. Yeah? Is everybody on the SCA train? Okay. So now we're going to come to OC. All of you have been like, man, we're talking about owner's conundrum. Like, what is this? Why are we talking about owner's conundrum? Like, why the owner? Why is the owner our protagonist? Why aren't we talking about shareholders, CEOs?
Isn't set up that way? You have to have shareholders and outside shareholders, stakeholders.
So in this instance, we're saying in the maid's case, it's a small business, so it's owner related. I'm saying in every case, in every business problem you ever solve, ever, I always want you to imagine that you are the owner of this business when you solve it. And that is the perspective that I want you to have with every case you ever do, even if it's a ginormous corporation. Think of it as you are the owner, like you're Steve Jobs in Apple, okay? That's the vibe I want. So why is it important to think as an owner? Tim, are you okay? Why owner and not shareholder, CEO?
More skin in the game. Originator.
Because what are we originally trying to do here? What is this that we're trying? What is the whole purpose of a business? To create value, to create long-term value. Okay. If I'm a shareholder, if I'm a CEO, man, I have like 4 years to give a shit. Okay. And then I'm out. I'm going to take a massive package. I'm going to retire. I don't really care that much. Okay. Maybe if I'm a very, 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 very good CEO, I might care like 10 years, maybe 20 years, but even still. Okay. And I'm driven by very different factors. I'm driven by maximizing my shareholders' value. I'm driven by what my board thinks. I'm driven by profits, right? I'm driven by bonuses. I might not be driven by what the same things that an owner would be driven by, which is what? Long-term value creation, okay? As an owner, I want my brand to be something that stays in the world forever. In some instances, though, having a CEO's perspective is much better than an owner's perspective, though. In which cases? Why? Why would it be better to think rather as a CEO? Go for it, Tiff. Yeah?
Owners are so, they marry their hand. They love their own ideas and they can't see the way.
Yes. So owners sometimes can be very emotionally attached to their solution, right? It might be very difficult for them to be objective. And so sometimes it is important to also have a CEO or a board kind of viewpoint. But generally, when you're solving problems, I want you to think long-term value creation. Even if you're thinking as a CEO, if the case says you are the CEO, think of it like this. Still think of it as an owner to create long-term value. So now, knowing that perspective, we're going to do something together. It's a really brief activity. I'm going to teach you how to read these cases. Okay. All of you. How did you all, ooh, sorry. How did you guys read your case? Like how? Front to back, right? The doi, like, I don't know. Did you have like highlighters and like something, pens, making notes, reading it back and forth? Okay. Do all of you have your case with you? Or like online or something? Okay. And everybody online, also, I need you to do this activity with me. You have 5 minutes starting right now. Pull up your case. Okay. You have exactly 5 minutes. I want you to only read, nothing else. I only want you to read your introduction. And I only want you to read your conclusion. And then I want you to come up with an owner's conundrum statement. Okay, are you ready? And I want you to write it down. Okay, don't put it in your head. I want you to write it down. Words on paper. Your 5 minutes start now. Only intro, only conclusion. Write your OC. The conclusion section is called next step, if it wasn't clear. Sorry.
an individual activity? Oh, whoa. If you're done, you can put your hand up. If you're done online, you can put your hand up or drop in the chat that you're done. If you were confused about what we're doing, we're reading the intro, the conclusion in 5 minutes, only those 2 sections. Conclusion is next steps, and then you're coming up with an owner's conundrum statement, you're writing it down. Esmery has a question.
No, my hand's up because I'm done. Sorry.
Oh, brilliant, thank you. Two more minutes. Kyle, are you done? You done?
Yeah, I think so.
Mila, you're done. Write it down. If it's in your head, it's not real, guys. Write it down. Because I want to be able to hold you accountable.
All right.
One more minute to go. Did you write it? Where? So mean, I'm sorry.
In the deep end.
All right, wrap up, wrap up. Write your final thoughts. Make it beautiful. Make it your best OC yet. None of the presentations were ballin'. One of them was. Okay. We are gonna come to a stop 30 seconds earlier. I don't care. All good. Okay. Esmery, can you share your OC with us, please?
Sure. How to revitalize the dry cleaning industry while maintaining profits and work-life balance.
So, I like the second half of it. I don't love the first half of it, but thank you so much for being brave and sharing. You read only the intro and the conclusion, hey?
Yes.
Okay, amazing. Anybody else? Kyle. Kyle, do you have a mic? Do you have a mic? Oh, let me get it. Okay. Kyle is going to tell us his OC.
Maybe a little bit underwhelming. I just came up with a question. How do I meaningfully and sustainably increase profitability of the business?
Okay. All right. I'll take that. Anybody else want to share? Anybody's like, wow, I got it. Like, I got it today. Feeling so good. Guys, it's actually really simple. Go for it.
Is expansion the way to go to balance profitability with work-life balance?
Yeah, I like that also. So, Jandre says, is expansion the way to go to manage profitability or balance profitability and work-life balance? All right. So, first, I actually want to ask all of you a question. Now that you only read the intro and conclusion, we're like, oh man, it's so obvious what needs to be done. Did any of you feel that? You felt like a little bit more clarity. Okay. So for those of you online also, guys, this is how you read a case. You actually only start with the intro and the conclusion paragraph because everything else in between is like analysis and bullshit. Okay. So the meat of what the case is actually asking you to do is always in the introduction and in that next steps or conclusion paragraph. And when you read it like that, you can see the, what is it? Like the tree for the what's the word?
No, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can have a bird's eye view of the case. It really simplifies the noise for you. This is really important. Honestly, for me, the OC was like basically the last statement, which is he wondered what his best option to expand the MAID would be. Like if some of you just came up with that, I'd be like, that's fine. The response to that could be don't expand, whatever, like actually, but his question that he's pondering isn't should I open 100 branches? How do I maintain work-life balance and profitability? He's just a normal guy who owns 3 laundry shops. And he's like, should I expand or not? That is literally the crux of his problem right now. Yeah? Does that sound fair? Malloy.
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify, because you know the adage that the devil's in the detail. So are you saying we start with the intro and the conclusion just to frame our thinking and get the essence of what the case is, and then delve into the content to obviously substantiate what we are saying? Or are you saying just bin in the middle part, look for the head and the tail?
I love you. You are so ahead of the curve. Hang tight with me, okay? This is the beginning. This is just the beginning. So as a team in your teams, when you do this, or as a business, okay, if you have a case like as a business team, okay, just read the intro and the conclusion to get like individually first, and then I want you to individually bank who is the protagonist. So who are you trying to solve this case for? Who is your owner? Okay, that's the first thing you should be like, I'm trying to solve this case for Mr. Wong. I'm not trying to solve it for his employees. Because all of you were trying to solve it for his employees for some reason. All of you were trying to do like some talent development strategy. Mr. Wong doesn't care, man. He's not running a charity shop for talent development. Okay? Who is your protagonist? Number one. That's really going to help you clarify the lens through which you need to read this case. Okay? Then you need to bank what are the problems he's trying to solve? What is his actual need? His only need is he wants to know right now desperately, should he expand or not? Okay? Then you need to decide what decisions does he need to make, okay? So one of the decisions might be, does he focus on profitability? Does he focus on work-life balance, okay? From the intro conclusion, this is all you need to come up with, right? When you're doing your case practice. I'm gonna tell you what to do next and how to read the rest of the case. And then you don't need to Google anything. Trust me, you're gonna find nothing about these cases online, it doesn't matter. And I want you to use your common sense. Okay, I don't want you to read this case and be like, damn, I don't know anything about Hong Kong. I don't know anything about the laundry business. It doesn't matter. Everything you possibly need is in the case. Okay, so don't bother Googling and use your common sense and know that it'll guide you, the case will. So this is how you spend the first 5 minutes. Okay, as a team, the 4 of you, 5 of you, you're going to read the intro, you're going to read the conclusion, and then you're all going to come together. That might only take you like 1 minute. Okay, that's quick. Then you all come together and you fiercely battle to death until you come up with one OC, okay? One owner's conundrum. And once you finalize that, let go of your egos. Guys, let it go. The thing that you've come up with as a team is the thing that should guide the lens through which you now read the rest of the case. Okay. So Malloy, we're getting to your question, which is how to read the rest of the case. But Zandile, I see your hand. Or Zandile also Malloy?
Yes, it's actually my surname. So I wanted to clarify, because I also want to know how to practically use the framework of the need, the product, the business model, and the SCA. Because that's should in essence frame your thinking. That what's the need you're trying to ascertain, the product, so how do we practicalize that and bring that framework into when we're reading the case? So we're jotting down according to some sense of logical thinking.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'll give you a really practical example from what we saw today. One of the teams went really ham on their being industry leaders and being like the technology solution. That was their solution. When they did that, they completely missed the need. You see, if they would have come back to what is the need, which is everybody just wants a laundry service that is quality and convenient. Okay, that wouldn't have been answered by this amazing tech solution. So why these frameworks of fundamentals are really important is because we can get really wrapped up in the excitement of like a really good marketing strategy or a really good like hyped up product. But if we're not addressing the core issue, which is, does somebody have a need for this product? And are we solving that with our product? That is why I started and set that foundation. So that it's not something you need to memorize. It's not something like a framework that's going to hold you all the time. It's just something that you need to gut check yourself with. And guys, I'm telling you this practically because when we did John Molson, so we had to do about 10 cases, we were crushing it. And we were getting so cocky that by our fourth case, we presented this ludicrous solution. Like, it was so out there. And we lost that case. It was the only case. No, actually, we didn't lose it. We won by 1 point. The point differential was like very tiny. And our coach, he cucked us out and he was like, guys, you forgot your fundamentals. You forgot what is the need, what is the product, what is your business model, and what is your SCA. And we forgot it. Instead, we were just like, we were flexing with bullshit, okay? That is when you lose. That is when you lose sight of what is the actual thing. So come back to fundamentals. It's way better to present a practical, like, fundamental solution, because everybody who's on a board who's trying to approve your strategy, they're business people who've worked in like business for 40 years. They're not like excited by your FUFA ideas that are really out there. They need to know that it's going to make them money tomorrow. Okay, so practical ideas are generally way better. It is, Tracy, I see your hand. It's very nice to leave them with a nugget of like, oh, we've got our laundry service down, but we have this epic app. Okay, that's like the nega. That's like the cherry on top. It shouldn't be your Sunday. Okay. Go for it.
Thank you. So on the point that you just made now,
Mike, do you want a mic?
Do I need the mic? I can project.
I think just for the online
it's
people.
the online people. Okay, so just on that last point, I remember last year when we did, I think it was last year when we did the actual faux case competition here, and Fansale was judging with you. He said, and this has stuck with me, and I think I use it like once a week in my real life: do Del well, and then present the moonshot. Do the boring stuff first, and then you can come up with the great ideas. So I think that speaks to the framework of the needs and all of that jazz. The other thing, just talking about reading the case. So the one thing that got me when I did this program, and I couldn't get away from it, was that there are case writers that are professional case writers. And I didn't trust the cases. I was like, they're giving me all this information, but what about this question, that question? And why haven't they answered this? I actually am going to go Google this, because I don't believe that this case writer knew what they were doing. But at the end of the day, there is also a framework and a structure for how cases are researched and written. And you can just trust the case. It's fine. It's really okay.
100%. So case writing is kind of like academic paper writing. They have to go through quite a rigorous process. So like at UCT, we have a case writing center in the world. Like, it's like a whole thing. And also, guys, there's a point in finding information outside of the case. The judges will never allow it. Okay, it has to be whatever's presented in the case is what you have to do. Okay? I'm going to swiftly move forward on how you actually read the case. So I don't know if you'll believe me when I say this, but I tested this morning again, and I tested last year when I did it with you guys, and I've done it time and again with cases. It takes me 15 minutes to read a whole case. That is all it needs to take you, 15 minutes. This is called active reading, okay? What you're gonna do is you're gonna put on your owner's conundrum glasses, and you're only going to look at data that is helping you solve the problem that you've set out to solve through the lens of Mr. Wong, okay? And how you're going to read is you're literally gonna take whatever your vibe is. I took 4 different color markers, and I started swatting through my entire case, okay? So I'm literally going strength of Mr. Wong, weakness of Mr. Wong, threat of the industry, opportunity in the industry. So all of you know SWOT, right? Okay, so strengths and weaknesses are internal. That's our own strengths and weaknesses. Opportunities and threats are external factors. So what is happening in the industry? What's happening in the world? Okay. As you do this, you'll quickly start seeing, and you'll see in my notes, I've literally crossed out like pages. I didn't read any of the exhibits. I didn't read any of them. They were all useless. They had nothing to do with the case. Okay, very little information. Okay. You'll see I put what my strengths were. I made them green. And then as I'm flipping through it after this with my team to make my case, I can quickly go back to, oh, here are my strengths. Here are my weaknesses. Here are my opportunities. Here are my threats. I also made another section, which was needs, because I was really trying to get down to what the hell Mr. Wong wants. Okay, that's why I know at least 3 times he mentioned like work-life balance, but he only mentioned the 100 stores once. Okay, so you can also do that for yourself. Whatever helps you understand your context better. Okay, so you're going to active read for no more than 15 to 25 minutes. You literally, that insurance paragraph, as I mentioned, I didn't even read it. I saw the top sentence, I read the bottom sentence, I speed read through the rest of it, and I crossed the whole thing out. You can literally cross out massive sections of the case that are completely irrelevant to your question that you are headed out to answer, okay? And the reality is you might say, oh, but I might miss some of the details. Guys, if it's not relevant to your need, it doesn't matter, okay? You can make a whole case by just focusing on one thing. Like, honestly, if you told me the key issue is the talent strategy, and you sold it to me really well and came up with the tech solution, whatever it is, to solve the talent strategy, I maybe wouldn't even care about the laundry. I don't know. It's just about what you identify as a key issue, and you find the recommendations that really hit home, and you're only focusing on those things, okay? I'm talking like garbled right now, but I'm just trying to tell you that you need to identify and narrow down for yourself what you're reading. If you find yourself reading a case for more than 40 minutes, you've lost the plot, okay? You are reading way too much detail, and you're actually getting distracted by what we call red herrings, okay? Those are complete distractions. They're just taking you on the side. Did anybody have this experience where they were like, oh, wow, look what I found. This is a nugget and a gem. I'm going to catch them with this pointer. That will happen to you, okay? Don't allow it to happen. Keep sight of your need. Keep sight of your original owner's question. And I promise you, you'll read this whole case in 15 minutes. So moving forward as a team, what are all of you going to do? You're going to spend 5 minutes in the beginning in your room or online. Intro, conclusion, you bang out the OC, all of you, in first 5 minutes. With your OC, then you all spend 15 minutes. All of you individually read your case and you highlight your SWOT, okay, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. And then you come back together as a team to start making your case on what the key issues are, right? But before that, because we are doing a business school degree, it is really, really, really important to do analysis. None of your key issues can be unsupported by analysis. What do I mean by analysis? Anything in the case that gives you information, data, to make a point. You guys did a very high level analysis for this case, which was situation analysis. It's very, very weak. It's the first thing you present to get the board or the judges on your side. Okay. And how you do this is by getting quick wins. Okay. You want to just tell them information that they already know. It's in the case, they already know it, but you want to reiterate it. So they go, oh yes, indeed, yes, yes, yes. That's the best negotiating tactic, is when the person across the street from you agrees with the things you're saying. That's quick wins in your first slide. As you present a case, you start with situation analysis. They're on your team. They're like, oh, damn, this person gets it. They get our context. That is light analysis. That's slide number 1. Okay. We're going to talk about the slide structure, but this is the primary crux of your analysis, and each of you in your teams is going to have one analysis person. Okay. This is somebody who's a really good data analyst or just has really good insights, might even be a marketer. Okay. So there's a few different types of analyses you can do, and I'm actually not going to go over each of these because you should be learning this in your degrees. Okay, so you're not going to do all of these. That would be insane. That would be literally crazy. But you're going to have all of these kinds of analyses in your back pocket as tools that you can use when you do analysis. Okay, so depending on the context, you might do a value proposition. Okay, what does that mean? Like, where am I playing in the market? Am I the cheap and quick good? Am I the high quality, really expensive good? Am I the sustainable good? That is your value proposition. How do you differentiate yourself to your customer? Again, I'm not going to go over all of this, but this is the kind of analysis I would recommend. And you're probably going to have 3 or 4 different analyses that you do to come up with your key issues. If you present a key issue to me that is not backed by analysis, it's not valid, because then you've just pulled it out of thin air. So in this instance, what of these tools might you have used? Are you guys familiar with most of them, generally? If you were doing hardcore analysis for me, what might you have used? I want to bank like 3 things that we would have used from here for our analysis and then move on.
Okay, done SWOT.
Okay. SWOT, yeah, easy, but you should always do SWOT, for sure.
Segmentation.
Thank you. Okay, I think if we literally did our market segmentation from the beginning, we could have really banked like corporate versus retail clients. Okay, that would have been a really quick win for you guys to say, do we have the right product mix? Okay, we don't understand our market. Wow, there's a lot more money to be made in corporate. Let's just focus on corporate, right? That could have been a whole strategy, guys. Nobody suggested that. Only corporate clients. Okay. What else?
I was going to ask that actually, because something that wasn't really clear to me was whether you tackle both markets or whether you focus on one.
There's no right answer. But you need to justify it to me. If you said to me, corporate is the way to go, dry cleaning is mostly corporate, there's a lot more margins on corporate, our costs are a bit high, but we can lower it. If we have a centralized location in new territories, it's cheaper there with lower costs, and we'll do just delivery to corporate. Bam, like you sold me on it, okay? Sell me on it. But market segmentation would have helped a lot of you. Value proposition, yes, you wanna know where you're playing, okay? So you're saying we are the quality, good brand, not cheap, good laundry service. That's where we're playing. Okay. You don't compromise. Yeah.
Corporate was expensive, and then they had only 20% of the market.
Yeah.
So it was expensive because they of the machines that they had to use, and also the most staff they had to employ, and
Yes.
supervisors they were not qualified in sales, dealing with corporate clients.
Absolutely. That's why they chose not to go corporate, right? Yeah. But that's fine. Then you might say, I've chosen to go only retail, okay, because of these things that I believe that corporate is not a good strategy. Okay, but you still would have had to do market segmentation, right? And then you could have taken me down the road of, oh, one of our key issues is that we're focusing a lot on corporate, but it's very expensive. Why don't we use those resources for retail? I'm not saying that's the right answer, sorry. I'm just saying that is a way that you could have expressed. Your analysis would have led you to a key issue, that we have the wrong customer base, okay? Anybody else?
So given the location.
Yeah, okay. So right, in Pestle, we would have thought about, okay, the environment, blah, blah, and then we talked about maybe like legality. So this might have been like, okay, we can get rid of all staff and automate everything and have robots. This is Hong Kong, but maybe the labor laws don't allow us to do this. Yeah.
Barriers to entry.
Yes.
ECA.
Yes. Yeah. So there's 1,700 laundromats. What are our barriers to entry to becoming the preferred laundromat, right? You would have identified all of those. And then that would have made your key issue to say, hey, I think our key issue is that we can't play in this market, it's too saturated, right? So then your recommendation would be how to differentiate yourself as a provider. Ooh, amazing, guys, you're doing great. In this instance, the case did not have a lot of data. In a lot of cases, you'll have so much data and so many graphs where market sizing becomes really important, right? So you might have, do you want to play in China, Canada, or South Africa? Then you say, oh, this market is really large. We've done market sizing. We can play here. So there's so many ways to do this, but these are some of the tools that you can use. But don't limit yourself to frameworks. That's really important. Zandile.
I just wanted to go back to the SWOT and linking it to the analysis around and it speaks to the environment on opportunities and threats. The cases that you give us, are we supposed to have a perspective of present day from a present day perspective, or are you looking at the case in situ? Because then that influences the opportunities and the threats that you're identifying.
Lile, I am going to refer you to my brief, and there's a statement in there which you can read on your own time, which will answer your question.
No, I did see that statement, but I just wanted some sense of clarity that going forward, should we always look at these cases from a present day or when it was written?
So generally, when you're provided a case, it's going to be really fresh. I'm just using
Okay.
cases that are like easier. So right now we're doing a really easy case because it's our first one.
Oh,
So
I
I told
see.
you to use present day conditions. But moving forward, depending on the case, I'll let you know which conditions to use. So we might
Please.
use a case that is older, and then I might say, use old conditions to get creative. Like you have no tech, or it's pre-COVID, or it's during COVID. Like we'll simulate interesting things, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing,
Perfect.
great question. Okay, I've already said this, but I'm gonna say this again. Guys, all of your analysis should always point to your key issues and your recommendations. At the end of each of your analysis slides, I wanna see a pull-out box, okay, that says, all of this analysis tells me that I cannot franchise, okay? All of this analysis on this page tells me that our customers demand quality and consistency, okay? Any insight, anything you're pulling should come from these analysis slides. By the time I'm done with analysis, my judges or my board or anybody should be like already sold. They should be expecting what your key issues are. You're already leading them in the right direction. They're like, damn, like I'm there with you. They're sold. That is how good your analysis needs to be, with the takeout box at the bottom telling me the so what. Okay? Analysis is garbage and it is not business school unless you tell me the so what. That is critical thinking. You can present me all the data and graphs in the world, but if you don't pull out a so what statement from that, it's useless. You guys all know what I mean when I say so what, right?
It feels like a nice cheat to, you know, speak to the recommendation.
It feels like a nice cheat. Speak to the recommendations that you considered but didn't make. So I like that.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about it in this session, but in the next session, we're going to talk about how you cover all your bases and you actually even present all the cookies ideas as your alternatives and you show the judges why you didn't go with that strategy. It's the ultimate power move because the other players would have recommended some of those things and then you've negged them. You've shown the judges why those are not good strategies. So we'll do that next time. It comes under alternatives and you'll also have like decision criteria. Go for it.
But,
But when it comes to recommendations, I mean, there will always be a positive and a negative towards that. Is it just you have to decide which would be more beneficial, but which recommendation, the positives outweigh the negatives?
I'm going to show you something cheat sheet right now. This is how you're going to do it. I'm going to show you this later. This is like an example of a deck that we did, but you're actually going to come up with a decision matrix, okay, for yourself. Can you guys see this? Okay. So you're going to come up with like your decision criteria for a case. So in this instance, one of his decision criteria might be work-life balance, in which case you'll say expansion strategy is not going to help him. I don't know. And then you'll actually demarcate each of them and show why you've gone with one strategy. They will have, like you said, ups and downs, but if the wins are greater than the losses, then those are the ones you're going to go with. You see what I mean? Does this answer your question? Yeah, okay. All right. Let us continue. I'm going to send these slides to you guys, so don't worry. Okay. Your next slide, so far we've actually only talked about your situation analysis, okay? Your next slide is going to be your value promise. So what is it as a consultant that you're delivering to Mr. Wong? Okay. So, hi, Mr. Wong, if you follow my strategy, in the next 5 years, you'll be a retired man at home because your business is going to be operating on its own because it's completely tech, whatever. It's going to leverage XYZ efficiencies, okay? That is your value promise to your customer. This is not something that everybody does, but it's a really power move because you can explain that through your strategy, the customer can see what they're going to achieve at the end of it. Okay. So an example would be a 4-year strategy to combat increasingly competitive landscape through a customer base growth and streamlined operations strategy. That's a lot of like business school words, but basically it doesn't have to do with this case, but in this instance, we're doing a customer focus and a streamlined operations strategy to give them what they're looking for, which is to bat their competitors in the next 4 years. Right, this is an example of a value promise. We're actually not going to do the analysis today, but for your homework, if you'd like to, or you can do it for the next case that we send you, I want you to now think about the analysis tools that I've given you or shown you, and I want you to go and do a real analysis on this case if you want, or on the next case. And then come up with what is the value promise that you're going to give to your customer. Okay, so key issues. A lot of us didn't smash it out of the park today, and that's okay. But first, I just want to check. Everybody knows and understands what MISI means. And in theory, but I mean like for reals. Yeah, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. What does that mean? Yeah, so that's the collectively exhaustive part, right? What does the mutually exclusive mean? This is where a lot of people, yeah.
They exist separately.
Yes, so they exist independent of each other, okay? Your key issues shouldn't be tied to each other. Can anybody think of their own key issues and where they were like, oh, both of these are actually intertwined? I would say, like, to be honest with you, I would say talent and process efficiencies are like intertwined, and all of you put them separately. I think you can't have an efficient process in a laundromat if your talent is inefficient. You see what I mean? Yeah, I definitely think that was not mutually exclusive. Right? And then collectively exhaustive means that all of your key issues that you've presented have addressed all of your analysis. Okay. So now if you're presenting me analysis saying, our customers
want a in-house delivery system, okay? Like your analysis showcases from everything I've read, the customers are saying convenience is number one. They want the delivery picked, they want laundry picked up at their home and they want it delivered at their house. You've made a whole analysis slide about this. Okay, this is the value proposition. This is what customers need. And then none of your key issues speak to that. Oh, our key issue is that we actually have really shitty delivery service and our entire delivery service is only subsidized by our corporate clients. But now we're canceling corporate clients. If you see, in this instance, your key issue isn't even addressing one of the key analysis that you brought up. So maybe as a team, you come up with 3 key issues, you love them, but you look at your analysis slides and say, okay, we need to scrap this analysis slide. It's fine. You don't need to show all 300 analyses that you did, but make sure you show the analyses that speak to your key issues and your recommendations and scrap whatever is not speaking to it. Because otherwise the judge is going to rail you on it. They're going to say, but you brought up this issue, but you never addressed it with your key issues. Okay? For me, like, these were kind of key issues, but I put them as possible. It was just an informal industry. There's talent issues. That was a big, like, I feel like it was a big red herring for me. Like, it's something that can be easily changed. To lean on, like, oh, it's an informal industry, we can't fix it. I think that's like a cop-out, okay? Anything can be fixed if the need exists. The talent thing also, we've talked about why I think that you can't really solve human-centric problems, like, truly. And I think if you train your talent, they're gonna leave. So it is complex. I think the target market and customer segmentation, that was a real issue. There was not enough data. He's going off a lot of assumptions, and he's not sure if he's going to go corporate or retail. He's not even sure, is he going to stay in the city, like, which is a high-end market, or if he's going to focus on new territories. All of this is your target market. I think this could have been fleshed out a lot for a lot of you. I would have liked to see more of that. And then the business model, okay? So are we going franchise? Are we going chain? Are we going multiple stores? Are we buying existing stores? Are we opening new stores? Are we actually doing a centralized model? All of this should have come out a bit more. Some of you did this. I don't think it was just as explicit. Maybe we just don't have the verbiage yet. But moving forward, I would like to see your key issue saying ill-defined or non-existent or confused business model, and then put bullet points under it, okay? For recommendations, it's the same, okay? 2 to 3 max recommendations. Again, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive, same thing. They need to address your 3 key issues. If you're putting forward analysis and key issues that your recommendations are not addressing, I don't want to see it, right? And then we've talked about this decision criteria matrix and alternatives. I'm going to show it to you in a sample case in a second. In this instance, this is what I would have liked to see a bit more of. Target market clarified. We've already talked about this. Are you doing retail or are you doing corporate? Okay. Product mix. Very few of you talked about whether you want to focus just on dry cleaning or laundry. I think that was a really low-hanging fruit. And sometimes you can have a cheap short-term recommendation, which like hits the bat out of the, whatever, hits it out of the park, okay? So that would have been for me like, okay, maybe expand our dry cleaning business. We already have, it said we're part owners in a dry cleaning business. Like leverage that synergy more to deliver to the corporate market. And then finally, I think the last answer that I was looking everywhere for, some of you tried to address it. Technically, one of you did it in like a take-a-lot model, but you didn't get to it. The ideal solution, I believe, but again, there's no right answer, never believe me, is a hub and spoke model, okay? What does that mean? What this can look like? And you address quality and convenience. You have a massive centralized laundromat, huge, and put in the cheapest area that you can find, industrial, great. Then you have an amazing delivery service, but not to homes, okay? Last mile delivery is one of the most complex challenges that there is to solve. You don't want to do that, okay? Imagine your laundry guy's parked with a scooter downstairs. Now he has to run through a high rise that's 200 stories to find the apartment where he has to deliver. That is insane, guys. Like, I know it sounds basic and it's convenient, but maybe it's not, okay? So hub and spoke means you actually open like little, you know, like a, what's that? Udo? Yeah. Whatever. Okay, you have like little like boxes or whatever areas, like at a gas station or at the bottom of a building. Every other building has the maid. Okay, and it's not a huge retail space. It's tiny, like it's just a box, but it has your branding plastered all over it. So this is called a hub and spoke model. Okay, so your guy literally just drops it there. The customer gets a QR code, like a code to unlock the box. Use tech, leverage it. Man, this could have been a really easy case, and you're also reducing your talent problem. Okay, drivers don't need to be talented. They don't need to be customer facing. They'll never see a customer. Okay, the only people working in your laundromat are low talent people. That's fine. They're just the back end. They're again never seeing a customer. Your managers, you can only have 1 or 2 really solid managers, which you already do. Close all the rest of your shops. Okay, bring them in, bring them, centralize them. That is the kind of solution that I would have liked. So you're leveraging technology, you're reducing human risk, and you're still guaranteeing quality because it's one centralized location. You can manage quality, and you're guaranteeing convenience because, hey, it might not be at your door, but it's in your building at the bottom, okay, or it's at your local grocery store, right? That's the kind of solution that I would have liked to see in the end for this case. This is my other like cheeky solution, and guys, this happens. Some people take this approach. Somebody could have said, look, I've read this case inside out. This market is crazy. There's no way anything we do is going to work. And at the end of the day, all this guy wants is a work-life balance. So actually, our recommendation is that you do nothing. You just keep going the way that you're going. And some people do it, and it's fine, you know, because sometimes that makes business sense. You don't need to revolutionize the whole thing. And a lot of times, the old bras, they love that like solution. It's like, oh, good, good, good. We don't need to fix anything that ain't broke, you know. So that is a possible solution. You can always go there. It is possible as long as you defend yourself. Like I said, there's no right answers. There's only the best answer. Okay? And if it requires no investment, it requires no effort, this guy's going to be happy. Maybe he's doing okay. He said already he put like a few $1,000s in one of his businesses and he's getting a massive turnover. Do you guys see that? It's like in 2 months, he made his money back and he's doubling his profits. Maybe that's all he needs to do is focus on his 3 stores. That can be your whole strategy. Okay, so let's wrap it up a little bit for today. And I'm going to walk you through a few important things for our next one. A lot of you are probably wondering, okay, how do we set up our teams? How many peeps do you guys have in each team for now? 5 or 6, eh? Okay. If I were structuring your team, I would have 1 Shivani. And everybody needs it. You need a really blue sky thinker, strategist, okay, that can come up with the whack idea, because everybody else is going to bring that person down to earth. But the whack idea is needed, okay? Just sometimes it's needed. So it's a blue sky thinker. It's a strategist. They see like all the pieces of the puzzle. They're a really good systems thinker. And they're also a story weaver, okay? They can present anything. They can close their eyes and just present. They don't need a deck. They don't need cue cards. They don't need essays on the wall. They're just a great presenter and they're a good blue sky thinker. This person's going to weave your whole presentation together. They'll do the golden thread. They'll check for like the vibes, okay? But they're not going to do all the presenting. All of you have to present. If you're on the team, you have to present. But this person is the one who you can leverage on them to present the most, okay? They can do your intro, they can do your conclusion, and they can do a big chunk in the middle somewhere, whichever one you want them to do, analysis, implementation, whatever, okay? But they'll be somewhere in the middle as well, okay? 2, analyst, okay? The whole analysis section really relies on this analyst. Okay. You guys might do some analysis as a team. You'll say, oh, let's do a value prop here. Let's do the market segmentation. But you're not going to physically do it as a team. You're wasting too much time. The analyst in their own time, I'm going to show you how you segment your time. The analyst in their allotted time will sit and actually do the value proposition. They'll actually put those graphs together, okay, while the other people are doing their own things. Okay, so you need a really good like data rockstar, data storyteller, marketer, anybody who really gets data. They need to be in this space. The third person is an implementer, okay? This person can also be in marketing, but this person actually needs to be in operations, okay? So what they do is they take this blue sky crazy idea and they say, but how do I really make this happen, okay? So they're the ones who are, Shivani says, hub and spoke model, and then she exits, okay? And then everybody's like, fuck, how do we make this happen? And then your implementer's like, guys, this is it. Okay, we're gonna do like a Pudo model or whatever. It's gonna look like this. It's gonna be consistent branding. There's gonna be one in every single 7-Eleven in the country, okay? To that level of detail is what the implementer does. They literally mentioning the 7-Eleven, mentioning that our marketing rollout strategy is a 3-month, 6-month, 12-month marketing strategy on TikTok and Instagram. That level of detail is what the implementer does. Okay? That's why you need somebody who's really like an on-the-ground operations and marketing thinker in this space as well. Okay, and then the final one, which is really easy in an MBA space, I guess, to find this person, but also complex because I don't know. I feel like they're not great presenters. I'm sorry, finance. I was just gonna say this. I'm just gonna say
say this. VZ is gonna kill me for it, but they need to be very like numbers rock sharp, but they need to understand finance, and I mean like everything. Because this was a super easy case. I had no finance. Most cases in the back will have all the financial statements. Okay, so you need to be able to like in 20 minutes read through that and develop financial models. I mean like payback periods, profitability, like 10-year projections of what your interventions are going to do. I'm going to talk all about this in the next case. And VZ is going to come talk to you because he's my really great friend and he was my finance guy on our team and he lives right here, so he's excited to come talk to you about that. So this guy is going to put together your financial numbers, and he literally has to put together, or she, they literally have to put together all the graphs and every supporting financial projections that you need to present this case. Okay. There's a fifth role, and it can be one of these 4 people, or it can be a 5th person in your team, but it's the facilitator. So guys, when you're in the room doing the case, like shit gets crazy. So you need one person who's keeping time, like, oh, we have 2 hours to solve this case, or 3 hours or whatever. And they're going, guys, 5 minutes for OC is up. Like, let's smash our OC. They're taking the notes on the big whiteboard, or they're bringing you all together. So they're literally facilitating the coming together of the solution. So pick somebody who's like a diplomat, because you're going to be very stressed and it's going to be really crazy. And they're just going to have to be somebody who brings everybody together and really keeps time and asks the right questions. Okay. So they might say, okay, great analysis, but what is the so what? Guys, what are our 3 final key issues? Okay, what are our recommendations? Okay, check 10 minutes before the time ends. Hey guys, where are your slides? Where are your slides? Where are your slides? Okay, this person needs to be really rock solid as well. When you're thinking about your team, think about who's going to occupy these roles. All right, so let's look at what it's actually going to look like for our next case, because we're going to do it like this. Please, fam. Whether you had once or not, I think it'll be really good practice if they simulate it like this. Can it be? Can they do it in a few hours?
Well, we can like send the case at a certain time and expect our slides at a certain time. We can.
We don't even have to do that. Can I just say, if you guys want to do this seriously, like hold yourselves accountable. If you want to just do it for vibes, like that's also fine, because I think it's a really good learning opportunity. But if you want to challenge yourself, I solve business problems like this today. Like this is what I do. I literally I give myself 3 hours to go through. And Johannes, who's my professor and coach, he says if it takes you any more than 3 hours, you're not doing it right. So you're going to get the case. As mentioned, inter-conclusion and OC discussion, no more than 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, you're going to active read for 25 minutes because you guys are slow right now, but you will get to 15 minutes. Okay, then together you'll do your SWOT and analysis discussion in no more than 20 minutes. Guys, this is really meaty, this part. Okay, this is one of the biggest parts you'll have. This is where you'll get your final key issues from. You have to spend the good time here discussing. This is, if you think about discussion times with your team. Sorry, I'm going to use the mouse so everybody online can see it. The massive discussion times are your OC discussion, that's 5 minutes, and then your SWOT and analysis here, and then your key issues and your recommendations. Everything else is basically individual work. Okay, so that's not a lot of time to read and process and come up with a solution to your case. Implementation and finance will work in a silo. Actually, I should put analysis in here also. So excuse me. So your analysis, implementation, and finance people are going to then flesh out the details of their slides in these 10 minutes. And then individual work and slide building. So you actually draw them on a piece of paper. Sorry, I didn't mention this. If you do it in case format, they actually only give you 2 laptops to work on with 4 people. Okay, so you don't have a lot of resources. Most of the work that you're doing is going to be on paper at first. So you have very little time to make the slides look pretty, which is why up front I said to you guys, please don't worry about how your slides look. Don't worry about icons and photos and stuff. It's actually about getting really good quality content on there. And then finally, for individual work, slide building, you have maybe a total of an hour and 15 minutes. And at the end, you want to give yourself 15 minutes to bring it all together because it's on 2 different devices, put it on one deck, and then see that there's a golden thread, okay? That the slides are in the right order, that you're all telling the same story. Because remember, you split up for individual work, and maybe the implementer had a great idea and they just threw it in there, but none of you discussed it. Okay? You need to make sure that all of you are on the same page. This is very rarely realistic. These 15 minutes never happen. Like, I'm telling you now, but plan for it. Okay, that's a prep timeline. Does anybody have any questions?
In that case, I want to just walk you through. Oh, yeah, go for it.
This is not a question, more a tip.
Yes.
From my experience.
Want a mic?
Oh.
Guys, there's a hot tip coming in. A hot tip from experience.
So from our last presentation, for whoever is going to do the finance or take on the finance role, from my last presentation, my biggest learning there was to get out of your own way. So what I did was I got cocky and comfortable in my default setting for how I function at work. And then I thought that that would translate to the case. It didn't. And yeah, that was a massive learning curve there.
How did you get out of your own way eventually?
So for other presentations going forward, I actually started working closer with one of the guys in our strategic finance team. So he is more on the creative financial thinking and modeling side of the team. So him and I started working a lot closer. And so then I started working with him to build my models. And then I would pitch to him first before presenting.
Nice. Yeah. In our team, we did the same where it's like BZ's a very like heavy finance guy and I'm a strategist, but we worked together so we could get creative in his finance. It wasn't like super dry, but still like told a story. Okay, I'm gonna walk you guys really briefly through a deck that we did in one of our practice rounds. We don't have any of the case decks because we're not allowed to take them outside of the competition. But this is a practice case that we did that's actually a South African case, and it's written by one of my friends. So it's MWeb, and I'll actually send you guys this case if it's okay with you, if you want to practice it, and I'll send you the solution also, okay? So here's an example of situation analysis. Guys, this is what I meant by like, don't put a lot of text on. Look at how big it is, and then there's like one pull-out box. This is what I mean by pull-out box. Okay? You're not writing essays on the page. You want to be able to be like, bam, and then speak to it. Bam, speak to it. Bam, speak to it. And then speak to your final conclusion. They're basically losing market share. That's all you need to know. Okay? And all they want is a dominant market position. Okay? This is what I meant by a value promise. So you have your, what are you delivering to your client? This is an optional slide. You don't have to do it like this, but you can also give like really key KPIs that you're trying to hit or metrics to deliver success. Okay, so you're saying we're promising 1 million subscribers by 2023 through this strategy, as an example. This is how we did key issues. So again, like visually, it looks really lame because it's 2024, but like it's really simple. No, it's okay. I hear you, boo. No, it's okay. This is like before. This is before like what is this stuff now? Design, vibes. Okay, but also you have no internet connection. You're not allowed to use like any of those tools. So it's like go simple, like whatever's most basic. Okay. And you need to be the star of the show, not the slides. But you'll see it's really big. Like these are my 3 key issues, and then those are like sub bullets. Sub bullets don't even matter. It's actually like bam, here are the 3 key issues and recommendations. So this is all we asked you to do today. But now I'm going to show you what a whole deck looks like. Okay. So at this point, everything you've seen till now was what the introducer introduces. So you'll see in 4 slides, I've brought you on a journey. I've told you what's up in the world, in the situation. I've told you what we're promising to deliver you. I've told you what we think the key issues are. And then I've told you what the recommendations are. You'll see I didn't put an owner's conundrum slide. And you're like, but why? You told us to do it. Guys, that's because I wanted you to start thinking like that. None of you knew that you had to read a case through the lens of an owner. You don't have to tell the board what the owner's conundrum is. The board is the owner. He knows what his conundrum is. Okay? But you can tell him what you think the problem is through your value proposition. So now it's only the introduction. Okay? Now I'll show you what analysis looks like. Okay? So this is a market positioning slide, for example. You'll see the takeout box at the bottom, hey? Like need to streamline operating costs to remain competitive. Here's a customer analysis. What does our customer actually want? They actually care about price, all right? I don't know, some other shit from the case. I don't remember this. So those are some analysis. But you'll see, we didn't do a lot of analysis. You don't have to do like 10 pages of analysis. Give me 3 analysis slides, all 3 speaking to the key issues that you're going to present. Now, this is the section where your recommender or your implementer comes back in and actually starts talking about the recommendations in detail. Okay. So again, you bring them back to recommendations. You'll see this slide like 3 times on my deck, and that's because by the time I finish speaking, I want the judges to be obsessed with my recommendations. I want them to remember nothing else but this slide. Here, we talked about other alternatives because we knew that our competitors would have suggested these or things that we considered. Okay? Then we knocked them by saying, okay, these were our actual decision criteria, what we wanted to accomplish. And then when we looked, see, I only bring up my alternatives first. I tease them. I haven't even told them my recommendations. I'm like, this is why none of the alternatives are going to work, okay? They're not meeting all of our decision criteria. Yeah.
So that would have to be all green, for example, or generally.
Generally green, hey, right? Yeah. Or you need to have a really good excuse. Yeah. But just weave the story, okay? So you can see the slides are really simple, but it's a non-negotiable. By the time I even reveal my own recommendations, they already hate the other 3. They already hate the competition. They're like, oh, look at that, all red. Why would we go with that? You know, it might not even be true, but you subliminally like condition them. Now you go into your recommendations and you're in more detail, okay? So remember, I told you I've talked about the recommendations so many times, they're gonna love it, okay? You've talked about what the strategy for recommendations is, why you're doing it, and what is like the pullout, okay? What is the key outcome? Because of this actual recommendation, you are gonna grow to 1 million. Like, oh, recommendation 1, I love it, okay? Recommendation 2, you're gonna have lower operating costs because you're doing all of these things. Same. So it's really great that way. Next, implementation. This is the detail level stuff that we talked about, okay? So this is where you get really into the nitty-gritty. How are you going to do it? Through WhatsApp and SMS. This is the how. Before was the what and the why, okay? Implementation is the how. All right, guys, the slides look so ugly in retrospect now, but like this is what you got to do, okay? Look at your customer. You're doing actual customer segmentation, hardcore here. Who are you hitting? How are you hitting them? Okay. How can you reach them? All right. This is also an important slide that I'm going to actually send to you guys. In our next brief, I'm going to tell you what slides I want from all of you. And implementation timeline is really key. If you don't have this, you've basically lost like 5 points or whatever. And this is you showing them that you can actually implement the strategy in the 4 or 5 years that you've promised. Okay, so you showcase which of your recommendations or implementations you're going to do when. Okay, and finally, finance. You're going to do a budget. You're going to do your unit economics if you have to. You're going to do finance forecast. So literally VZ did this, like all of this math in like his 10 minutes that he had, or 15 minutes. Yeah. I mean, I think you might have longer, but it just depends on how you guys split out your work. And then you want to close with any risks and contingencies, okay, that showing that you've thought about anything else that's possible. Okay, and then your strategist comes back in and concludes and say, guys, I told you so, and this is how we're doing it. And you just reiterate what you started out with, and then you win. That's it. Okay. All right. So I know we're over time, so I'm gonna close out really quickly. Sorry for those of you online. This is what your pitch looks like. You have between 15 and 20 minutes to pitch. So I wasn't lying, because you had 2 minutes this morning and you barely made it. So you're gonna have to do all of that in 3 minutes. Okay, so you will have 1 more minute. But what you guys didn't do, and it's really important, is you didn't weave a story. None of you told me like, Mr. Wong, you want a work-life balance. Okay, like that's like the where it comes in. Okay, that's the good shit. So that's why you have 3 minutes. You gotta like sell him. You gotta be like, I know you. I know your kids. I know what your wife needs from you. Like that storytelling is really like where you win. So bring that into your intro and bring that into your conclusion. Okay, so you close with like, and Mr. Wong, if you do this hub and spoke model, we know that you'll be able to spend more time with your kids. That's what you want. Right? That vibe has to come in. Okay. Yeah. So for your intro, you have 3 minutes. For your analysis slides, you'll have about 5 minutes. For your recommendations, you'll have 2 minutes. For implementation, 5. Finance and risk, 3. So guys, that's a lot of stuff on there, and you basically have like 15 to 20 minutes to present. So it has to be very tight, very tight. And you don't have any time to practice your presentation. So you're winning. You're literally winging it. We used to have like an alarm, like that VZ would carry, and he would put it at the front of us, and then he would literally be like pushing me off the stage, like getting on. Okay, so that happens. You have to really manage your time. It's really tight. When you close, then you have about 10 minutes of Q&A with the judges, in which case you answer questions. You can't introduce any new information at this point. You can say, we thought about this, we blah, blah, blah. But if it's not on your slides, it's not good. Also with Q&A, guys, this is a hot tip. Really easy for the like people who are like good presenters or want to answer questions to keep shining. That's not a good way to do Q&A. You want to make sure that almost every single person in your team is answering at least one of the questions to show that it was collective teamwork. And two, if a judge asks you something and you answer it and they come back to you, never retort, okay? Do not retort. It's just like in bad faith. So you just want to be like, wow, thank you for that insight. I really appreciate it. Seriously, because if you retort that, you're going to eat up your whole Q&A and you're not giving the judges the chance to ask you questions that you can actually give really creative answers. You've already given your one retort. It's fine. You're not going to get any better than that. Okay? So one retort, like one response only. Yes.
What if you don't have an answer?
Yeah, sometimes it does happen, and then in that case, you what we did, like it's 4 of us, so then we'd look, and whichever person was like super passionate or like had an answer, then they would step forward. So we'd do like a eye contact with each other first, because one of the people will have an answer. If all 4 of you don't or you're feeling uncomfortable, then you just say, sorry, we don't have a response for you at this point. Yeah, or like, great question, we actually didn't consider that fact. Yeah, you want to show that you're coachable, you know. Okay. All right, so next steps is our next presentation is on May 11th. Okay, between now and then, I'm going to be sending you it's like a month away. Between now and then, I'm going to send you all of this stuff that we talked about today. I'm going to send you the MWeb case. You're welcome to do it if you want to. You don't have to do it. But like a week before, again, same thing is fine, because I know you guys have different classes and schedules, so you can manage your time. But if possible, just try to do like the 3-hour exercise, guys. It is phenomenal. It'll really, and I promise you, you won't do any worse than somebody who's taking 5 days to do it. In fact, you might do better, okay, because you're really hyper-focused and you're hyper-collaborative, okay? So try to do it in the 3 hours if possible, and we'll send it out a week before. Yeah? Yeah. All right, we are 15 minutes over time. Sorry. Thank you, everybody online. I'm happy to take questions, but I know that you guys have a life. It is Saturday. Sandile, oh, thanks for your claps, man. I was really worried I wasn't answering your questions.
Awesome, Shivani. Thank you for bringing the vibes and the energy.
Of course. Yeah.
I hope you all felt some level of discomfort today, because there's a lot of things that you didn't know, and that's how you learn. So thank you for pushing through. I hope next time that we will show Shivani that SBS is better than University of Cape Town, because we will participate more. And then one other thing, there is a case competition. I think it's individual. I'm waiting for the details that I will share with you as soon as I have more details, but it's in May sometimes. It's Oliver Weinman. Yeah, so I hope that you will continue to be uncomfortable and just sign up and go check it out. And if you don't do well, then you learn from it. So please, like, take the opportunity and do things that make you uncomfortable.
Can I say something else? Yes. Guys, I'm really serious. I would love in the next one, if we go really hardcore, I am happy to sponsor a case of wine as the present. And can you and then I would love for us to narrow it down. Like, if people are going to be serious, I'd love to narrow it down to 2 or 3 teams, and then we can talk to UCT to do like a little competition, like a friendly. That would be really cool towards like the middle of the year or towards the end of the year, if you guys are keen. So keep practicing. I'm happy to send lots of cases. Yeah,
we're keen as the exco, and we'll keep you posted. Thanks, Shivani. I really appreciate it.
I'm here if you guys have questions.
Everybody just stay for a group.
Sorry, guys. I had one job.
One job.
Where do you want us to stand?